Today is Monday, September 27, 2004. This is a meeting of the Franklin County Board of Commissioners.
Just get to me, well, Pat gets here anyhow. Pat is late. What time is it? We got. Well, you're not late, Pat. I thought you were going to be late.
I am so hard.
You're 7 seconds early, so.
I move approval of the consent agenda.
I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Noting that now Lincoln County is part of the Guama.
Well, they aren't
Almost.
really. It's kind of a technicality. They have all the rights, but they aren't as such without going back and redoing the whole process. So.
So this is just the first step. If they want to continue, or somebody wants to continue. Why are we doing this?
It could be.
Why are we doing this?
Why are we doing this?
Uh-huh.
To make them a member, bringing them into the fold without going back out and having everybody sign that agreement that had to sign it. Good morning, George.
Okay.
You see, we have to go back through the process. We're accepting them as a member, but they haven't been approved by the health board. And,
so this is the first step, right?
Yes, but we may not go beyond this. And we may hold the hearings and go through that process. But
all right.
I probably haven't made myself very clear, but that's...
Yes, you have. I understand you completely.
And that would take quite a bit of time to do.
He just didn't want me to really come up with a story, so he corrected me and then uncorrected me. I think, and I choose to believe it. That's what happened.
Anytime I can correct anybody.
You're gonna miss
on
me,
anything,
Frank.
I want to do that.
Yeah, right. Board meetings will go so much smoother. I might run for president. I did so well as commissioner in my last campaign. I think I'll run for president.
What's that guy that always runs here that, outside of Harold Stassen, he always ran for president?
Oh, the serious guy? You mean the rich guy?
No. The guy that runs, what's the guy that runs for governor?
Somebody the mover?
Yeah. Mike the Mover.
Mike the Mover, yeah. You know, Marshall used to run all the time, too, for something. Marshall is a very nice man. I know him. He's just a little serious.
As you well know, politics is a very fickle thing.
Well, you can't get along with that. I'm going to tell you what. Do not drive from Walla Walla to here at 5:30 on Sunday afternoon. Nobody obeys that speed limit through Burbank and that area. And then guess what they do when you're obeying it? They make horrible signs. I think it's called the Hawaiian good luck sign or something. My husband said, drive up there. I want to do that to him. I said, no way. That's road rage. But boy.
They were waving at you.
They just, oh my. I mean, not one, but several. And it's because I was going, it says 50 miles an hour. I was going 50 miles an hour. You're not supposed to go 50 miles an hour. Your life's in jeopardy if you do.
Anytime there's a shift change at the paper mill or at the meat packing plant, that road is a
Yeah. Well, these people, there were a lot of boats. These guys had boats, and I don't know if they were trying to get somewhere.
You have made a crummy showing here today.
Thank you, sir. This is in the honor of not having a board meeting on Wednesday. I just wanted you to keep in track.
Why are we not having a board meeting on Wednesday?
Because Fred's gone and nobody wanted to meet.
Without Fred, I can understand.
Fred's gone and nobody wanted to meet.
Miss him. All we do is sit
Well,
and cry.
congratulations, Fred. I didn't know.
Actually, because the only people that were scheduled on Wednesday was
I
PA
remember.
and track.
Yeah.
For who?
PA and track. then Eva said cancel it, move them to Monday, and
Well, she's not going to get any argument from me.
I really wanted to meet on Wednesday
That was kind of your thing,
and
your
every
day.
other day. Dave Hopper has offered to meet with me, so I'll have Wednesday to do that.
Well, and Fred would want to get in on that, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to be down on the conference.
I'll see if we can't reschedule.
Actually, if you want to have me, I would much rather sit in one of those meetings with mental health as to put in time with the unions.
Oh, imagine.
I can't believe we're going to arbitration.
Nice people like us.
I'm curious how the outcome
You know, it's,
Well,
well,
now you both are going to have to sign here and sign really tiny.
one thing people need to understand, you can't pay if you don't have.
Tried to find out what the county actually offered for family medical.
Uh-huh.
And she's come up with 52% or 54% is what the county pays on the full family medical. I think that's pretty generous.
I do too. When you're considering how many people can't get any kind of coverage at all, too, on top of that. But it is generous
Right,
anyway.
tiny.
Yeah, what we got? This is different, isn't it?
Well, yeah, you have to write your name and Sue's name in that one little tiny line there, though. So you have to write tiny. Or do you want to sign it just as the chair pro tem?
Chair pro tem?
And, well, why don't I tell you, we can do that. We can put both in there. Use it in the sign and pro tem. If I signed on that wrong tiny little line, Sue will get another tiny little line to sign. Besides, why should I have to sign more than you? There.
Right. Because you're a pro, and I'm not. You're a pro tem.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Do I have to remember? I remember this time.
Neva's got a bad knee. Is that the knee she
She's
hurt
got-
when she fell down and broke her
Well,
wrist?
she really doesn't think she did, but I think she did. I think she twisted it, but it was bothering her before. She's just gonna have to admit, getting
The
old
evils-
like the rest of us.
The evils of
Did she
Drink.
hurt it at the fair?
Yeah, well, she hurt her hand at the fair.
She had it on ice there at the fair.
Her knee,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, maybe, no, it was her wrist or
her
something.
wrist. Yeah, she said she put ice on it.
Yeah, 'cause when we came here to the, on
they told her it was just arthritis, and I told her to go back. I said, no way does that hit you like that, you know, and so, because that's what they told me, too. But they right away scheduled an MRI when I said it hurt so bad, and so that's what they did Friday, was had an MRI, and she's supposed to get the information today that the leg is going to have to be removed. But she was really in pain Thursday. I mean, she's in terrible pain. It hurt when she didn't move it.
Pat, is that the end of that mess?
Almost.
What else do we have?
Well, we need a motion for
I move the approval of vouchers for expenditures as listed, and the total is $365,958.97.
I'll second the motion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Quite a stack there.
God, she's really doing a crummy job.
This isn't my doing. The majority of this is Bridget's doing. The track.
You're the one that's presenting it, Pat, so you have to assume
You're the only
responsibility.
one we can get at.
Okay, well, then I think I did a terrific job. Thank you.
We have to be able to take our ire out on
What's
someone.
that called?
My word.
Okay, while you're signing your name, you can think about whether you want to go to the private grand opening for Band 21 Wine Bar and Restaurant, Wednesday, October 6th from 5 to 8. They want an RSVP by September 30th for you and one guest.
Where is that at?
The Red Lion.
Oh, it's for David Valora's son runs that.
Band 21 Wine Bar and Restaurant.
Yeah, he manages the whole kit and caboodle, and it's under reconstruction or whatever you call it right now, renovation.
Yeah, I'll, by when?
By September 30th, which is this week, so it would be wonderful. If
And what day is it on again?
It's October 6th, which is a Wednesday evening.
No, I won't be here. Bill, let's see, October, Bill Wasak.
You're not leaving until the 7th, so you can if you would really want to.
It's on a Wednesday, you said.
But he'll be hung over on the
Oh,
next
that's
day,
right.
and he won't
I'm
be able
sorry.
to go.
It was Monday.
Now, you were being very definite. You're
I
being
was.
very
I'm
definite.
being
You're
very
being very
definite.
definite, Pat.
Yes, you will not be here.
I
but
won't be
you
here.
will.
I'll give you an answer by the 30th.
Okay.
Are you guys going to VJ's grand opening?
30th? Oh, that's right. Is that the same hours?
What's the grand opening?
It's this coming Thursday.
What?
Of course, I wouldn't miss
Mira
it.
Sweets.
You just got to make a speech. Oh my gosh, I hope they don't
What,
put her in the
Mary
hospital or
Sweet?
something like
Yes, definitely. But that's this Thursday?
This Thursday.
Yeah, no, definitely we're going to go to that. Yeah, I didn't.
Because Mr. Brock better stand in the wings in case she's unable to speak.
Well, tell VJ if you don't mind it. I apologize for not being able to be there.
Because he's playing hooky.
Huh?
Because you're playing hooky.
I'm in Wenatchee. That's not good.
That's hooky.
Have you ever sat through a labor relations conference?
Yes, I have.
That's not
And it's not hooky.
It's capital punishment. Almost.
Well, you can
Mr.
start having
Wilson.
some of that and- How come they're having it in Wenatchee?
Halfway's between.
What time is
Wenatchee
this?
is
This Thursday
considered.
evening, isn't it?
I don't know what time it is.
I think it's Thursday evening, isn't it?
DJ's, isn't it
No,
5 to 7 or
it's-
something?
I don't even know what date it is.
5:30 to 7. We just got the invite from Joe yesterday.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it's 5:30 till 7, something like that.
Yes, 5:30 to 7:30.
5:30 till 7:30.
And what's the other one?
This one
On the
here?
30th? Aren't they both the same day?
No.
Oh, that's right. It's
Yeah.
just answer by.
Yeah.
That we
Oh,
also have.
my goodness.
This came in on email this morning. I just printed it off. Actually came in Friday, but I was playing hooky.
No, wait a minute. They dropped that. The governor dropped that. Oh, no, he didn't. Never mind. Pretend I didn't say that.
Okay. The second watershed meeting in Moses Lake, planned for October 22nd. And they're developing responses to some of the issues raised at the July 7th meeting. And I guess they want to know if you have any ideas of interest that you want to send them.
I don't have an answer right now.
Okay. Got that?
Eric, you are. Thank you, Pat.
Thanks, Pat.
Morning.
I have an announcement to make, and since this is a big audience, I'll probably have all day. I have a new great-grandson.
Well,
He
congratulations.
weighs 4 pounds and 10 ounces. And he's 5 weeks early, but he's fine.
George, are you here for some particular reason today?
I just saw a deal in the paper that said the agenda something about self-landing roads, so I thought I'd.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Final assessment roll hearing.
For what?
Okay.
Self-landing grid.
That'll be here at 9:45 then. We have a public hearing on self-landing at 9:45.
Oh, at 9:45?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to stick around.
Well, gee, this is my last meeting with you. I didn't have
This
any.
is sayonara here. Huh?
Yeah, I didn't have anything really prepared for this week. Or this month. I didn't have anybody coming in, and as you know, Kay Hendrickson is my replacement as county director. So that process has gone forward very quickly. So
Yes,
the
it
next,
has,
the
yeah.
next, so the next meeting that you have with the extension representative, Kay will, and she has your schedule of the rest of the meetings for the year, and so I'm sure she'll be bringing people in to talk to you. And as far as my replacement as an extension educator, that's also going forward. We're not quite so quickly since they have to find somebody outside of our office to do that. But we're putting together they're calling it an advisory committee, not a search committee, I guess, since it has to look first at the job description and make any changes that the university or this committee deems necessary. And of course, Frank gets to be on that committee.
Yeah.
I have the other people. I think the other people on there are either from the potato industry or the vegetable industry, but people that I have worked with for a number of years. Kay may add, it's possible that Kay may choose to add somebody to that list. But I've tried to keep my job description as the one that I work on, and I suppose will be the starting point for this, as general as possible, since this job is general, and it allows you to really do the change as the needs of the clientele change. So we'll see what happens. It's really a wonderful place for someone to come in and work with commercial vegetables and potatoes. It has to be one of the best places in the United States to have this kind of a job. So I've been fortunate to have been able to work here, and I think that when someone new comes in, I hope they will keep some of the programs I did, but I'm sure they'll have new ideas of their own. And I've tried to talk to one of the, of course, requirements that the university is putting on extension faculty now is going out and getting grants. I think this is because of the position here with commercial vegetables and potatoes, that it's relatively easy, relatively painless to do that. Some of the grants that I've worked on, that I've already talked to the people that I've worked with, and they're willing to, if a new person comes in and wants to continue working with carrots, for example, I think they would be just about guaranteed of getting a grant. Continuing
A grant to
the work that I've done on these colored carrots, for example, that's a grant. I have a grant from the Department of Agriculture that's several $1,000s a year to put out trials and evaluate this material. And as long as the person who comes in is willing to do that, which is really pretty easy and enjoyable, I think they can, get a grant from day one, which I think will make it easy for the person.
One of the things we worried about when Bill left and Tim came in was to keeping that position. Now, is there any chance that this position could?
Well, I can't say there's no chance, but compared to a year ago, the university didn't take any budget cuts this year, so the budget is relatively good, certainly better than it has been in the recent past. They have money to fill the position. They've already talked to the Potato Commission, and I think the Potato Commission is willing to help cover the costs of the buyout on the annual leave and sick leave for Gary Pelter and myself. So that'll be, I don't know, $20,000 or so.
Oh my!
And that will speed the process up, because what the university has done in the past, they've kept the positions open, and by doing that, they continue to get money from the state. And once that makes up for the money they've had to pay out to the person who's retired, then they fill the position. But I think that won't necessarily be a factor the way they're going to fill the position.
Tim's position was open quite a while before.
Yeah. Well, the university, even on the best of, even if everything works well, it still takes a couple of months to fill it. Mm-hmm. I mean, really, Bill's position was filled for the university compared to some other counties. It was pretty fast.
We were tickled to keep the person in the spot.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of discussion about not getting that person.
Well, all the discussion that I've had, of course, the filling my position as county director, there was never a question with that, and it was somebody from our office. It's just an extra appointment that they get, so that wasn't a problem. But as an agent, I mean, I've been assured as much as a university administrator can assure someone that there are 4 positions in our southeast district that will be filled, and my position is one, and Gary Pelter's, who is my counterpart in Grant County, and we're really the only people in eastern Washington that work with potatoes and commercial vegetables, that both of our positions will be filled. So that's the best assurance I can give you. I mean, from everything I've been told, there's not a question that these will be filled, but it'll take time. And I'll try to leave, the key contacts. And Franklin County has been, very supportive to me. And so someone coming into this position, they're going to have a brand new computer and office space. All of that, is something that you won't have to worry about on startup. They can come in and sit down at the desk, and everything is there for them to go to work. So I'm really thank you for all the help, over the years. It's made my life easy, and when I became county director, that was easy too, working with, the three commissioners. I'm really glad to have had, because I certainly have friends in other counties who haven't had such a positive experience.
We're good people over here, and kind of spread the word.
Yeah, I put in a good word whenever I can. So I'm I'm just trying to get, I'll be in the office for 3 days this week, trying to get everything finished. I still have carrots to make a final reading on and waiting for me in the field, and I've got, but I think all the winter meetings, pretty much those are all the university meetings are put together, even though I won't be here, and there'll be someone coming down to Franklin County to run those meetings. Some of my work, Tim will take over the breakfast meetings with the Fieldman's group. He'll take that over. But as far as the potato meetings and the vegetable meetings that go on during the winter, I think I have the agendas all done for those, and either Gary Pelter or someone local will handle those meetings.
Now, this is your last week here,
Yes.
and Thursday is your last day.
Wednesday is my last day in the
So,
office. Thursday
Wednesday's-
is my day to pack a U-Haul truck. So.
You know?
So I'll be busy on Thursday. In fact, I
So you're
think I'll be
leaving
busy.
town
Yes, my wife and I are moving to Bellingham.
quickly.
Yes, well, we had a house to sell here, and really sad to sell it, having lived in it for 21 years, and it's a nice house, and I tried to figure how this would all work out with my retirement and selling a house, and figured it would take 3 months to sell a house in Pasco, and it sold before the first week was over. So either it was a nice house, and you might think I didn't ask enough for it, but I think in the neighborhood where we live, close. I only lived about a block and a half from the courthouse, so
Boy, that was convenient for you, wasn't it?
I saved a lot of gas money in 21 years, I think. Yeah, the parking lot at Atomic Foods was probably just about as far for me to walk to the courthouse as it was to walk through my house. So,
That's something.
so that worked out. And our children went to Pasco High School, and that wasn't far. And St. Patrick's School, and that wasn't far. So that was a nice,
Perfect.
yeah. I never thought I would live so close to.
Well, it
to work.
worked out well for you.
Well, everything worked out well. I mean, I'm sorry to leave Pasco. I leave my friends here and leave my work. But sort of start a new life now.
In Bellingham,
I don't. My wife and I picked Bellingham because none of our children are probably all going to be in Seattle. I think they all opted for the big city, I'm afraid, and so we wanted to be. That's sort of close. Although I have one son who lives in Boise. And he is my one child who probably has the least opportunities for geographically for where he can work, because he works for Simplot and works as a food technologist, and so there are not too many places where you can go with that. My other children work in fields where you can, almost any city that would work for them. But,
Boise is a nice area to live, though.
well, he likes it. Yeah, he likes it very much, and it is a nice place.
Well, Eric, we wish you much success, and
Yes. Well, I hope you'll
Continued
keep
endeavors.
hope you'll have an easy time with this committee, and that you'll have an easy time with whoever you hire to replace me, whoever you pick.
we hope the same. We
Yeah.
hope the same.
I've certainly enjoyed working with you. And how long have you been in this position?
21 years. I came.
No, just this last position.
Oh, I think
Seemed
4
like-
years.
Oh, it seemed
Bill's
like just
been this long
yesterday.
for it.
Yeah, I know. It
almost.
does to me. I'm
Yeah.
surprised because I really wasn't looking forward to being an administrator, because the only free time, there's a lot of time as an extension agent that is just committed. You have meetings that you have to put on, and those take a certain amount of time to plan and to run, and you can pretty much figure that during the growing season you're going to be spending a day or so a week out in the field looking at insects and diseases. So the sort of the discretionary time that I had, I either before I became chairman or director, that was more field trials. So I had pepper trials and garlic trials and other things that filled in my free time that were interesting, and that sort of had to go by the wayside when I had to be involved in some
More
administration.
administration.
But this is a small office. It was never a burden really. It was pretty easy, and so I enjoyed that. And yeah, it's strange. I came to work here in Franklin County in October 1st, 1983, and leaving my last day of work turned out to be October 1st. It's strange. It wasn't really planned that way, but
That's
that's
rather
how it
close to
worked
21 years.
out. Yeah.
Well, we'll miss you.
Well, I'll
You have to
miss you
stop
too.
in when you get back over
Yes,
here.
I will. I'm sure I'll be back. Well, I know I'm coming back in November for even though I'm not won't be running the vegetable conference, I'm coming back for that to visit with friends, and I'll probably come back. I have too many friends here not to be coming back. So
Oh, dear.
I'll have to stop in and see what's going on in this office.
Well, thank you, Eric.
Okay.
Mr. Wilson sitting in the wings here.
Good luck,
Okay, I
man.
didn't mean to take this.
No problem. I was in a hurry if you-
And
Okay.
good luck to you in your
Okay.
endeavors.
Well, thank
you.
We'll see you again.
Okay.
Thank you.
I gave copies. Not sure if you have them, so here's another one.
Oh, yeah, we've got this.
Did Pat, how come we have this one here, Fred, you know?
And what?
This was one that wasn't signed. We can't blame you. Reimbursement for the courthouse renovation fund.
This is the bill, isn't
Or, yes, just.
it? Pretty well.
Just another bill.
$210,000 one.
No, that wasn't that. Tom?
Basically, there's not much difference than from last year. Last year's budget was 124 something, $3,000, which is reflected in the growth in the number of parcels, and also $1,000 more projected carryover than previous year. It's pretty straightforward. I don't know if there's anything that's special. We do have some things possibly coming up. As you see there on the revenue thing, we'll collect about $89,000 off the orchard assessment and the parcel assessment, and then the rest of it's carryover. Carryover was discussed last year, and one of the things that I meant to point out is that one time we did get a $30,000 grant from the state, and the purpose of that grant was for us to use it for enforcement funds and then get reimbursed by the state so that we could have something in case we had to do any enforcements on orchards and stuff. And we just got to our low point in terms of cash flow of around $20,000 here this last month. So that carryover actually just is pretty well in terms of keeping us
Afloat.
not doing interest-bearing warrants,
Yeah.
you know. And we could have another thing coming up that could be interesting. Next year is the year that orchards and everything get reassessed and re-gone through in terms of finding out how many acres we have, you know, what's been pulled out, what's been added. And there's a big thing that's been going on for a number of years up in Okanagan County, and that's starling control. And we're starting to get noise down here that that's starting to be a possible problem. And they spend about $30,000 a year up in Okanagan County on starling control. Basically what they do is the pest board up there supplies traps, and they put out a bounty, and they've got guys that just go out for a bounty. I think it's like 50 cents a bird, and go out and try to trap and catch these starlings because they do so much damage, and it's getting to the point where they're doing the damage to the grape crops. So we may end up being in the starling control business in a year or two.
But you know, not only that on the crops, you get those starlings and they come in so bad in late August and September, they'll light on the power lines, they'll just make those power lines
Yeah.
sag like that. And then they'll fly, and they'll cause outages all over. Because they cause that flickering, and they'll cause the panel to open and close. And sometimes they will, sometimes they won't.
They're not a pleasant bird. I've had a big old flock come through my neighborhood this summer, and I call it a drive-by pooping, a fly-by pooping. Holy smokes. Nasty. You know, hose down the house and everything. That's stink.
So you say they set traps out. Do you have to capture them live? Is that what you have to do?
That's the one way that I'm aware of. I'm sure that somebody can go out with a 12 gauge and do some work.
Okay,
But,
if you capture them live, what happens to them then? Turn them loose again, or
No,
what, when
no,
you get your 50
You'll
cents?
euthanize them very
Oh, very
humanely.
humanely?
Yeah, I don't know. Really don't know because it's so new. They've been doing it up there in Okanagan for a while. There's a guy that's going to be talking about the whole program at the Cherry Institute this January. And there's something else, another meeting coming up in November where they're going to be talking about it. But I'm just mentioning it because I think we're going to get a push from our growers to do something about that. And if that includes grape acreage, we're currently not involved in doing anything with grape acreage. We're just doing fruit acreage. If it's that size of the program, they also work with wildlife in the state. They've got a couple of things going on, so it's new. I just know that I got word about it because we could end up having to do it.
Yeah, the starlings are a pain everywhere.
So far, it seems like it's moving this direction. So far, the time of the year that they're active is down here is later than it is up north, and we'll see.
Mary, when we got that last year, do you recall what we did on the budget? Do we have a motion to accept it or what?
Yeah, that's what you did last year.
Just
I
had a
think we
motion to
approved their
accept.
budget.
Yeah, I just approved it.
Just approved it as presented. And we don't have it. We don't do this by resolution.
I think we do, don't we?
Well, our board has resolution.
You've got a resolution. We'd probably, if we approve a budget, we'd probably better have a resolution on it.
Just put it on the consent agenda.
Pardon?
Could put it on the consent agenda.
We can approve it as such and then put the resolution on the consent agenda. I will entertain a
You want
motion.
it approved now and then again on the consent agenda?
We approve the resolution number on the
Okay.
consent agenda.
I move the approval of the Horticulture Pest and Disease Control Board budget in the total amount of $127,699.
All second the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. And we'll put it by resolution number on the consent agenda.
And before I go, I wanted to say I'm sorry to see you leaving.
Oh, thank you.
You guys.
Well, now
all
I
of
can
you.
see that there may be life after this job because I can perceive that there might be another job in
Starling
trapping
control.
starlings.
Yeah,
and
true.
You just found out about that one.
No, this is life after my old
darn
job.
little varmints.
Yeah.
But anyway, appreciate all your
Well,
support
thank you
and
for
stuff over the
saying
years
that.
and helping us with the legislature and everything else because it just made this whole thing possible. And I know that we're getting an awful lot of positive feedback from the orchardists and stuff with our various programs.
Good.
So they're not unhappy.
Super.
What are you going to do when you're retired?
I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
Trap starlings.
I just, I'll probably be looking for some kind of part-time work,
Really, though, I look to these old people who they retire. Someday I'm going to be there.
Wait a minute, I retired the first time at 50.
You were old. Then you went back to work and became young.
Yeah, but this is more fun because all my past jobs, when I was a high school principal, I was a county cop and an assistant fire chief and stuff. And
Wow.
now when I see things that I don't like, I can kill them.
Yeah. No, I haven't
Glad you
really
come.
thought much about it, to tell
All
the
right,
truth.
thank you.
Another one. Are you much of a shot or not? A 4-bit's a starling.
Hey, I could make a bunch of money.
You're not kidding. You know, when they'll come out and they'll bank and the sky is just black.
I
with
know
them.
it. They swoop around.
Yeah, they'll come
you
out.
know.
You just couldn't miss.
Yeah. I think you have to bring them in alive to get your 50 cents over what we're doing.
I don't think so.
Don't think so?
I think that
Why
if you
would you?
trap them in a cage, just stick it in a bucket of water.
Well, George, we have that hearing coming up at 9:45, and I assume that
Well, I didn't know what it was about. That's
the
why I
planning department will be coming in on that. Or that, no, won't be the planning department, it'll be the road department, I guess.
I believe it's just the
Tim.
final cost came in on
Okay, so it's not an LID hearing or anything like
it. It is a crib.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be Tim then when he comes in. We can recess for 5 minutes, Commissioner Toole.
Alrighty.
Recess.
I move approval of the payroll
There's a
in
term,
the amount of $508,626.74.
I'll second the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Make it out there today, it'll be tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Is he? Okay.
I talked to Moore last week also, and he wants to come out and look at those bridges.
And we were going to. We would have been able to, but we
Yeah.
had to cancel.
I told him I couldn't get out till this week.
Wilbert and I went out and looked at them, before we discussed it with him.
Okay, the time is 9:45. We're here for a final assessment rule hearing for South Lanning Road CRID. Commissioner Miller is present. Commissioner Corcoran is absent. Mary Withers, clerk of the board. Mr. Bowen, our county administrator. Tim Fife, head of public works, and we do have an audience. Tim?
Yeah, we completed County Road Improvement District number 18, actually, early this spring. Actually, the road part was completed last year, but we had retainage and whatnot early this spring that was finalized and everything else. And we sent out to all the legal landowners the final assessment roll, which reflected a total contract price, including engineering rate, $129,889, less the 25% county participation of $33,121.74, for a total grid assessment of $99,365.22. And that was distributed equally amongst 25 parcels. And that's the way we sent it out. We have not heard from anybody that is objecting to the way that it's either being distributed or the amounts in writing as per the law. And that's all I have to report this time. The only other issue, and we can get to that later, is actually when you want to do it, what interest rate you want to put on it for those people who don't pay it all up front.
Okay, thank you, Tim. This time I'll open it up for anyone in the audience that is opposed to this.
Just what stretch, all I want to know is what stretch of South Landing that covers.
Covered from, when was it?
Was that unpaved portion down on the other end?
Oh, it's just the unpaved part down there.
From Fraser
Yeah,
down just past the curve,
yeah.
Okay.
right where all
That's
those
not-
houses are.
Not where you
I
live,
thought
George.
since we had ours re-gravelled and whatnot, that we were involved in it too, so that's what I was wanting to
No,
make
it's
sure.
that unpaved portion down there. The guys
Okay.
came in on that.
All right.
That's it. And it's been
Okay.
done. It's been done for some time,
Yeah,
actually.
it's been, well, it's
Yeah.
just good.
But however, now that we think of it, George, yes,
You want to include 200 foot in there.
anyone else, any other comments in opposition? And if not, there's no one else in the audience, so I'll close the audience participation and ask the commissioners if they have any questions.
I have none.
And I have none. I would entertain a motion.
I move approval of,
Do you want to talk about the interest rate? Because there's
to do that first? Okay,
that's part of the.
of the hearing. All right.
But what I got two resolutions here. One that actually put 6% in here, and I'll tell you how I came up with that.
All right.
4.75% is the prime rate currently. All projections are for the interest rate to go up. But the other thing is, our preference is for people to pay these off. They can get money cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
So I added 1% to, or rather 5, I added 1% to it and put 6% in here. That's what I'm recommending that you do. But I did bring a blank one if you think that's too much, or too little, or whatever.
I think that's fair.
Because we're not selling bonds on this, we're financing this ourselves. Our preference is for them to go ahead and pay us the $3,000, but if they don't, then the 6% is going to be in effect for 10 years. It's a long term.
Okay,
Oh, my gosh.
That's my
in
logic.
10 years,
Yeah.
that might be, it can't be variable, huh? You can't do
you're not on a credit, you wouldn't.
So that's why I said it today.
Yeah.
I would entertain a motion.
Well, I don't know. I move approval of County Road Improvement District number 18, which is at 578 South Landing Road.
And specify the interest.
Oh, at 6% interest.
I'll second the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion
Well,
carries.
it's too bad you can't do that at variable. It's how long's that interest for?
It's set up for 10 years.
Because in 10 years, it could be 18%.
If we sold bonds.
You bet, George. Thanks for coming
Thanks,
by.
We sell
George.
bonds. Typically, you sell bonds and it's set at whatever that bond rate
Yeah.
is. And,
The thanks wasn't extended to everyone, just to George.
Oh, thanks, Jared. You bully.
If we can't harass Jared,
Beat that
our day is not
kid
complete.
to a pulp.
You can hear us.
Poor defenseless little Jared.
Yeah. I think by the fact that they don't have anybody here, they kind of tells you that everybody's happy with the project.
Good. Good.
And we didn't receive it. We received one call. I could get that. The one call was from the current property owners that were never. They just bought it. They were never told by their seller that this existed. So.
What in money cash? What will that be for them?
Oh, I didn't say that. It's $3,974.60.
That's about
That make me mad.
25
I mean, not
people
at you,
divided
but-
into
Well, they can go back
99,065. That's going to be pretty easy.
Divulge all that.
Right. If you don't, then you're liable for it.
Oh, then he might have to pay it.
They can go back after.
Tim, what else do you have for us?
That's it.
Okay, we take care of our business rather quickly here.
Do you have a copy of this, of the actual amounts? Because I think I didn't include that before.
It was in the.
It was in the note, in the first resolution we
Right.
signed. Oh, there it
That was in because it was, I think so. But here they are if you want to.
I'll check back. I think it was. I just forgot.
You should have got something like that this last time when we sent it out. It was part of the notice. That's it for me.
Okay, well, thank you,
How's
Jim.
fishing?
Wasn't good.
I didn't miss
We
anything.
got bass Friday, but
Oh, you know, it's good.
we were out behind
See, I appreciate the way you've been tracking our reserve fund here.
Yeah, that is really helpful.
It really is good. We can look back and see what we have done with it. In fact, I was just looking at it this morning, so I commented on it.
Well, actually, I told okay. All those other reports, I had her pull them because we were going all the way back into, 2002, 2001. I said, let's just keep everything on the current year so we're not going all the way back. We have the information if you want to go back for any reason. That would save us on printing out all those different reports. They're there if you want them. We might as well just go to 3 because the first 1 and 2 is increasing the bottom line of our current expense, and that public hearing was set for 10 o'clock.
Who is Paul? We're talking about Paul.
White Mark.
White Marsh.
Okay. Now, who's going to have to pay the? Who's going to have to?
The $600.
Well, no, but
If you go to page 4,
yeah, that's where I'm on right now.
okay, you'll see that the shortfall that we have is $608.40.
Now, tell me, and we approved sending Dan, but why is it necessary really to send Dan down there and remember the shortfall, Fred?
Well, he wants to be in charge of the entertainment, and entertainment is where you actually end up picking up all your, actually, when you go to either one of them, that's where you make your contacts. for these types of events. That's where you make the contacts. You run into all your agents down there to try to line up what type of well, it's all entertainment based is what it is, and that's really where you just make all your contacts for it.
Yeah, I think more, Frank, I think more than having him be educated as to what goes on down there is to have him down there so he can get some some entertainment to come back up. I don't think if you're not there, it's pretty hard to get things.
If you're not there, you're not going to get it.
But what I'm saying is, you or Paul couldn't do that.
Well, yeah, we could. I know Dan really is wanting to be on the board.
And I don't question that. What I'm looking at is when we come up with a shortfall anywhere now, I question making up a shortfall if we can do it some other way.
Well, why not leave White Marsh home and take him then?
Well,
White Marsh is more in tune with what he wants to do than.
But White Marsh, the city's not paying.
No, city's not paying anything on these trips down there, or to.
Yeah, I would say really we're a man long on that.
Well, we approved it when he asked. We said we would send 3 of them.
We're approving the dollars now.
Well, I wouldn't. I would rather see Dan go down there so he can make those contacts because you've got an interested person. I don't want him to fall on the wayside.
Well, I don't either. But I just, when we're starting out in the incubation stage here, it's an extra expense I think we could do without. And Paul is in the city. Paul has. The city's not going to pick it up. We need to have Paul there, and we need to have Fred there.
Well.
I just question having the need of having an extra person, and I see. But if you guys can pick up those contacts and make that a part of your trip down.
Well, that's the whole purpose is those contacts.
And if you and Paul can take care of that, that would save one extra expense both places.
Well, I guess my thought is that on that, I would much rather have me cut than Dan on that because I'm not going to be a board member, and we talked about having the board members appointed and that they be basically the supervisors of the volunteers that are going to be down there, and I'm not going to be that person. I'll be, as far as I will be, representing the commissioners and overseeing the budgets and working on that, but I won't be deciding what's going to happen at this event other than just overseeing the budgets and that type of thing. As far as doing the layout of the different things that are going to be happening at this event, that would not be something that I would be doing. So I would much rather send a board member down there than either myself or Paul, who basically is just going to be working with them to oversee the budgets.
Now, and when Sue said we did approve it, but when we approved it, I wasn't aware we were going to have to pick up Paul's also.
Yeah, he said that we were paying. I remember that, but I would agree with you. Let's leave Paul home and send you 2 down.
Well, I'm looking at
If we're gonna cut
this
this.
Bellevue thing. For $608 short, we could cut, I guess, Paul out of the Bellevue trip, which would save $760, which then would bring us in line with the amount of money that CTED is going to reimburse us, because they're going to reimburse us that $5,600. But I guess.
Well, why don't we just
do that?
If we can do that, if CTED will reimburse it, why don't we just cut Paul out of the Bellevue trip then?
Now, what's going to happen at a point where the county's going to have to start coming up with money? Because anything from this day forward, after this happens, the county and the city's going to have to start coming up with.
And we're going to have to look at our budget real tight to see what we can do, Fred.
Because if we're going to look at our budget and say no, let's don't send these guys down there then.
Well, what I'm saying is, so we're coming into our budget study
Well, I
right
understand totally what you're saying. That's why I'm saying, if we think we're going to look at that budget and say, heck, we can't forward any money on this project.
now. We can afford this if CTED is going to come
Yeah,
up
they're
with
going
it.
to come up with it. But.
We can afford this to go this far if CTED is going to come up with it. We just can't be in a position to lose money on this venture. But I would rather do that and cut Paul out of the Bellevue trip. Is that,
Well, if that's, and, you know,
I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings on this, but I'm looking at strictly from the dollar standpoint.
well, if that's, you know, I mean, and I certainly understand what you're saying. If the city is really serious about coming in as part of it, if they should be able to pick up that, if nothing else, they should be able to pick up the shortfall, at least the $608.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll call him. I'll talk to Paul about that.
Or cut Dan out of the Bellevue trip, really.
You know, I just assume not, because for the reasons why I explained it. You know, I would just assume not. Because if he's going to be the board member who's going to be on top of this, working with the volunteers, I would rather see me cut than him, because, again, I won't be doing that type of thing.
Well, let's go with a cut on Paul of Bellevue and then see what the city will come up with. The CTED is not going to cost us anything on this first
Yeah,
job.
if you can send them all three down there, then perhaps they'll pick that up, and if not, I don't think it'd be as serious a loss as for this. Because
Okay, well then that resolution, I'll have to bring these back on Monday, because this 6210 basically also covers that $608.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, if you want to open the public hearing for,
Okay, the time is 2 minutes after 10. We're here for a public hearing to increase the revenue expenditure bottom lines of the 2004 current expense aids to other government agencies, budget number 001-000-720 by $61,992. Commissioner Miller is present. Commissioner Corcoran is not with us. Mary with us, clerk of the board. Fred Bowen, our county administrator, is here, and there is no one in the audience. Fred?
okay, with that, I have a resolution here to do just that, increase the bottom line of our revenues, expenditures of our current expense budget. Increasing it from, our current expense budget at this time is $17,277,081, and that will increase it to $17,339 or $339,073. The revenue is coming from the land sale, and with that, I have the resolutions here.
Okay. There is no one in the audience. I'll ask the commissioners if they have any questions.
I have one question. Is the resolution number 2004-412?
I don't know what the number is. Is that what it is, Mary?
Is that what you have
Since
on?
it's on there. It's 412.
412?
You know what? I think she asked for a resolution number, and I didn't write it down, and I didn't say it.
Oh. So we need to change that?
It was now 435.
That can just be crossed out.
Or is this one that, no, 412 was passed and never signed, so it must have required this public hearing, is that right?
I don't know.
Okay, I think of the motion, I think we better use a new number, because it's a little bit different having a public hearing. Otherwise, we could just say that the resolution number was assigned on September 13th, but I don't think we can.
Can you give us a new number then, Mary?
435, 2004, 435.
Do you want to pull that up and redo the number? Just cross this number out and.
I think what I'm going to have to do is go back to those minutes and put a clerk's note that resolution number was not used, but that it was instead this new number on this date.
Well, my question is she's got it pre-printed in there. Do we just cross it out and write it in,
No,
or
I'm sorry.
are you going to print up a new one?
I will print it.
I would entertain a motion.
Okay, I move the approval of resolution 2004-435. You want me to read this whole thing, or just put as listed?
Just give the number. As listed, okay. We have a motion. I second the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, Mr. Bowen.
Okay, these other resolutions here are transferring insurance money into different line items. I have a resolution here for an inter-budget transfer in the amount of $29,997 within the current expense, non-departmental, to contingency for insurance. And with that is the resolution.
I move the approval.
I'll second the motion. Now, explain just a little more on this, would you, Chris?
Every year when we do our insurances, we budget a certain amount of money in each one of the departments. And these departments here are the ones that have to transfer the money out of theirs into the other insurance line items so we can pay the bill.
Make up the difference.
Right.
Okay.
Well, it's not so much a difference as that, say, like the...
Just to pay, period, their
right,
portion.
Their portion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
May I have some of your coffee, please?
Well, I'm not too sure that I want to part with it here.
Well. I don't want you to drink all that. I'll kill you. Drink that much coffee.
I'll let miss.
That's all right. I'm just waiting on you. We ready for the next one? This next one is an inter-budget transfer in amount of $6,370 from the current expense sheriff's budget, number 520, to the sheriff's corrections budget, 540.
Now, is this one we've discussed before?
Oh, it's the same thing.
It's the same
all
thing?
these different
Okay,
insurances.
I move the approval.
Second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
No wonder we run short of money. We keep spending. We quit paying some of those bills.
Yeah, I'd like to.
I'm pleased we still have money left in that contingency reserve, even though it's not a lot.
Well, the whole idea of keeping that report in front of you is because it's so easy for somebody to come in and request.
Oh boy,
If you don't have
I appreciate that to no end, to know where we are and to know what we spent on. That is a big asset, I think.
Yeah.
You know, and not to be unappreciative, but you know that might even be extended a little bit to include a couple of those other things that we always use.
Oh, those other-
L&I reserve
Yeah.
and that, because we're always
Yeah.
guessing on that thing.
Yeah, those are the ones I had her pull off of it because we were going all the way back to 2002. I said, let's,
You don't need that, just where we are dollar-wise now.
yeah, and keep it within the year. you
Yeah,
know.
that's right.
Because what
Yeah.
happened in 2002 was 2
It's
years.
great, but it doesn't affect, it's affecting us, but it's not going to change anything.
Right. Are we ready for the next one, Mary? This next one is the inter-budget transfer in the amount of $1,956 from current expense non-departmental to the sheriff's communication budget, 560. It's an insurance line item also.
I would entertain a motion.
I move approval.
I'll second the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Hey, you got a slew of those, Fred.
I was just wondering why they couldn't all been done in one resolution.
Instead of individual, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and the next one's the same. It's the inter-budget transfer in the amount of $243 from current expense non-departmental budget, number 700, to the sheriff's corrections budget, number 540, insurance line.
I would entertain a
I
motion.
move approval.
I'll second the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I'm having a hard time finding.
Sorry about that. I didn't want to get it confused.
Yes,
Okay, that's all I have.
Nothing else?
Nope, don't have anything else unless you have something for me.
Mrs. Miller, do you have anything for Mr. Bowen?
I think not.
Okay, if not, then we'll be in a recess until 10:30.
Well, I'm starting a Spanish class.
When Dwight, President Eisenhower passed away,
Oh, was that-
our battalion was in charge of the burial services in Canada and Kansas. So I guess they had an SOP on that, standing orders already. So all we got to do is just implement the procedural bit and get it done. So.
But you had to do line up the drill process.
We had the company, the battalion, the whole battalion, responsible for setting up the whole site, the memorial site, all the.
God, nobody wants to mess up on those.
Well, it's fortunately there's the SOPs on it. So.
Oh. Okay, we're back in session. Mr. Bowen, you're up.
Yeah, this resolution here is an inter-budget transfer of $5,600. This is the CTED money that's to be reimbursed. The original resolution I brought in included that $608, but we made a change to that. So with this, if we can approve this resolution, then we can transfer those funds into those accounts and make payment.
I would entertain a motion.
What would that resolution number be then?
2004-439.
Is that a motion?
I move approval of resolution number 2004-439, which is an inter-budget transfer of $5,600 from the 2004 current expense non-departmental budget contingency reserve line to the Commissioner's budget number 001-000-680.
Didn't totally understand the motion.
You want me to do that again? I'll be glad to.
I'll second the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Never ask me about my motion till I'm finished, or you'll be
God, never
punished.
again. I've learned my lesson.
Oops. I gave. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about going to the end of the table, however you would with the other officers, but you had 250 recruits in there that you didn't have to. Unless you're in a UAV outfit. Okay, Fred, that takes care of you?
Yes, I'm
Okay, Rich?
Okay, just a real short update on the P&L for the RV park through the end of August. You can see currently January through August, we're in a profit so far at $12,690, and then in August, just a few cents short of $1,300.
Okay.
And if you take a look at the sewer, water, those lines from 4701 down to about 4, we're looking at about $1,300 just constant expense per month, and then the rest, the dollars above that is pretty much profit. So as far as the RV park, those are the expenses that we'll have.
But we've got no adjudication of labor.
Right. I've got a copy of agreement from the PA's office on modifying that language to for our park operator, our camp host, you might call her, and him. And I'll finish the language up and get it back to Steve for him to review. And then once he has reviewed it, then he'll give it to the board, and we'll have a signed document for, with them.
How many permanent?
I've got 9 right now.
9 permanent in there. And you just know they're there for a month. So.
But most of them are going to be there. I think 7 of them right now are going to be there year round. And so there's some in there a little bit shorter term. We got one fellow that's the caretaker out at Hood Park. So he's going to, as soon as he gets down and they close up the park down there, as far as the mowing and the watering, then he'll be gone. Then he'll be back next March again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I see that you have marketing here for almost $1,600. What did you use that for?
So that's the Trailer Life advertising, the big manual that they have that goes out to several thousand camp hosts and also people that are members of their association, the Good Sam's.
Do you ask these people when they come in how they heard about us by chance?
Most of them are the freeway sign.
Most of them come in off the freeway sign.
Off the freeway sign or word of mouth.
I'm just kind of curious, you know, if we're doing all these advertisements, these national magazines.
Yeah, you won't see that until next year because these won't be published until after the first of the year. That's when our park will be in and along with all the new sign-ups and subscriptions. So,
I'm just kind of getting be curious to find out if it's working for us, if we have some idea how we're...
And after the first year, that's what I'm going to start tracking. I'm tracking a little bit, but not officially right now with the folks that are coming in. But after the first year, I think there's a line item in my reservation software that can track that. With that, I'll just make a note over in the, when they make the payment as to where and how they heard about it. Then the second item, I talked a little bit with Fred about it last week. I have had a couple of requests, and I thought I'd bring it to the board to see if there's any interest at all of establishing a full year rate instead of the monthly rate. The monthly rate is $325.
It's $325.
It's $325, and I've had some requests of a couple folks out there in Hanford that would like to know if there's a full year rate. In other words, if they paid $3,600, then they'd have the full year paid for, or whatever the figure would be, something below the $325 a month.
What is our neighbor down to the west that was charging a monthly rate? You know?
Did he have a yearly rate?
Yeah, I haven't seen a yearly rate with any of them.
What is the monthly rate on that? Do you know down there?
That was $360, $375, something like that, depending on the services that they got.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Oh, $325's fair.
Yeah, we had the discussion on a couple meetings back on the difference in amenities that they have versus what we have, and when you set the $325.
And I think that's important.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
I'd kind of hate to see us cut that for a year unless we.
Yeah, and
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Fred and I both kind of agreed, and I agree with him that I don't want to go with that type of arrangement. $325 is low enough. If they want to pay me.
That's only
It beats the
$10,
neighbors.
a little over 10 and a half. Less than 10 and a half a day. That's pretty reasonable.
But I said I'd bring it to the board, your action, if you don't desire to have a month.
How's our electricity going to hit us in the wintertime on that now, Rich?
That probably will be up somewhat because most of those, a lot of the homes are run off propane, or the propane tanks, and the long term, the real serious long termers have already brought out their 250-gallon tanks or 100-gallon tanks. And
it'll run their heat off of that, but it won't run their lighting off of it, though.
I don't think it runs the lighting. I don't think the electricity is going to really jump up that much because the propane heat's going to be the main.
Okay, you're right. Most of them are propane on the heat, aren't they?
Right.
Yeah.
And they're just going to have most of it what they have as far as their lights right now.
So that really won't change much, will it? Shouldn't change
Yeah,
much.
the,
They may run some electric heaters, though.
if there may be.
Yeah.
In the summer, it'd be different because most of them run then
Air
their
conditioning.
air conditioning, and that would be running in the power. There'd be more power draw then than in the winter.
Well, that's kind of an interesting thought on that, because
Yeah. Most of them are run their heat right now. The long-termers are bringing in their propane tanks and setting them up.
what, are we getting some overnighters?
Well, I was telling Fred before we reconvened that I had 7 overnighters in this last weekend. Yeah, they were more, some of them were more than overnighters. One of them was a gentleman that's retired. He's lived all his life in the state of Washington, but he's never visited Washington, so he just drives around spending a week here, a week there. We had a couple folks from the dog show that was across the river, Columbia River, or the Columbia Park. They were in for several days, and some others that are in 2 and 3 and 4 days.
Did they say that dog show was pretty successful, or did they just?
Both of them that were there were vendors, and they did very well. They said as vendors.
Yeah, I went to the dog show, actually.
Did you?
Oh, you
Pretty interesting, yeah.
And then road signage, just an update on that. I've talked with the city of Pasco. They're getting me a price on putting Franklin County RV Park on the kiosk that's on the corner of Road 68 and Booth Boulevard. That then will qualify us as the RV park to be able to get the freeway signage. One of the things that the DOT has told me, said before we can get an okay on the freeway signage, the directional signage off the freeway, then we have to have directional signage on the arterial roads because you can't see the RV park from the freeway. So the city of Pasco is getting me a price to put Franklin County RV Park up on that kiosk on the corner. And
Well,
will
that shouldn't be a tremendous amount.
No, it should be. So, and then another item we just touched a little bit on was the Park Coast contract, and I'll be working with Steve Lowe on that, on our Park Coast contract.
Oh, yes.
And finalize language on that, get that here in the next couple of weeks. And that pretty well covers what I've got for today. Any questions, comments? I guess the comment that I heard yesterday, a couple of people I talked to, that they really like the park because of the space between the sites. They were down at Sandy Heights, and they said they could read their neighbor's newspaper.
Oh,
Yeah. I think that park's awful nice after the way
it
it's set
sure
up.
seems to be.
You did yourself proud, Fred. That really looks good.
Yeah.
Oh, that really looks nice. I was going to ask one other question.
Yes, sir.
Any progress been made on that truck out there, Rid?
Not yet, no, it's still sitting.
Now, we're not going to be having as many shows here probably to utilize that, so it'd really be a good time to get that out of the way, wouldn't it? Because that is dangerous to use it the way it is.
Yep, I agree.
What truck is that?
Oh, that's a spreader truck,
A little too heavy in the
It's
back
loaded.
and it comes up in front.
comes up on the front end.
It comes up bad, not just
Frank, Frank, see
Oh, yeah.
firsthand what.
It's kind of fun to steer those things.
It's a lot of fun when you're sitting up there in the
Yeah.
air.
You got to hook a tractor on to pull that, boy. That's really bad. Okay, well, Rich, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. So you just moved it out of the way? There's
No, it's
nothing you
got
can
a
do
load
with
on it, we're just waiting, get the time and
I see.
get it unloaded and get it over to Waco.
Got to shine it, got to move the rear end back and extend the
So,
drive.
oh, okay.
Okay, Ray?
I'm just curious, couldn't they leave the existing rear end and tires where it is and just add an extra set of tires in the back? You know, have tandems, but leave your drivetrain where it is right now and just add another set
Thank
of
you, Ray.
tires in
Hi.
the back that would just keep it from, picking it
I
up.
don't know why that wouldn't work. Yeah.
what? did
Either
you
way, it would
have?
work on
I
that.
would think so.
Yeah, I don't know why that
It
would
wouldn't
work.
be a drive-through, it'd be a lot.
Was that just weddings?
Hey, Rich,
What's that?
Yesterday at track?
Okay.
Yeah.
let me ask you a question.
We
You know,
had
I was
a
just
listener appreciation.
mentioning to Frank, the way
Oh,
your-
that's
the way
right.
that stuff is set
We
up.
came by there in the evening and there was
Your tires here,
swamped
the bed
with
sits
cars.
up there.
Yes, ma'am.
Leave your drivetrain where it is right now, just add a set of tires back there.
Yeah, that's one of the things, one of those hydraulic.
I wouldn't even run
wouldn't have to be
hydraulic,
hydraulic.
I'd just put an extra set of wheels back there and that way to keep it from rearing up.
Because you're not gonna use that much to really use that on those tires, just let them be on the ground and
That'd be cheap.
Yeah.
you could probably pick that up at the junkyard out there and,
I bet you could.
yeah. Put that on, you wouldn't have to extend that driveway. Yeah, that would sure work.
I don't know. Just
Yeah.
a thought. It'd be a lot
Good
cheaper
idea.
than trying to, change that whole back end.
But it'll stop that coming up, and that might be a better deal than extending the drive line because you got more power or more weight carrying capacity.
Well, we'll just let Ruth make her recommendation, what they think.
Well, they're gonna recommend that they spend all that money doing that. I tell them to do what you want and see if they'll tell you why you can't do it that way.
The drive line wouldn't cost a lot either, but the other might be a better way. Okay, thank you, sir. Ray?
Okay. Event update, last week we had ICE, we had Titans, Takaha, and then Walla Walla College came in for their first practices on Saturday. We had Riverview Baptist Church had a couples retreat in the AmeriSuites on Friday night with food. There was a wedding in the AmeriSuites on Saturday for 200 people.
Oh, my.
And also on Saturday, we had another wedding in our atrium that came in on Tuesday and had the wedding reception on Saturday. So, last minute situation.
Where did you say they came from on those?
The Clarion
That's over there, used to be the
Tower.
tower. Wonder what happened there. They're
Apparently,
advertising.
everybody quit.
All right. Too bad.
What happened?
Clarion Hotel in Richland had some personnel issues, and we picked up a number of events.
Everybody quit.
They apparently
There's an idea.
wanted to change at the top, and everybody said that's not the problem.
Oh.
Oh, my.
And we've been the recipient of a number of events.
There's a
This
clue.
one Saturday,
We go around and cause a lot of trials and tribulation in these
yeah.
places.
People leave. Say,
Yeah.
we go
Hey,
somewhere
oops,
else.
here we are.
Yeah.
We also had on Saturday night Walla Walla College, like I mentioned, and then Sunday we had the Washington State Career and Community Leaders Convention over in the AmeriSuites, sponsored by Washington State University. 136, that continues today with food. And then yesterday the big event was KZHR had a listener appreciation concert in the arena for 5,202
My,
attendees
that's-
through the gate, and there was other workers and such.
That's
So we had
tremendous
about-
number for that. one
Yeah,
event.
we had about 5,600 people, I suspect, through
In the arena side.
on the arena side.
When we got 3,500 seating over there, that's really good.
Well, yeah, they were there in the beer garden, on the floor, and out in the arena side.
Yeah.
Again, we're with that concert, we had 3 issues. We had one fight, we had one girl faint near the end of the show, and then near the end of the show, we had probably maybe a 16-month-old fall in the bleachers and cut her ear. Just put a gauze on, told her take it out and clean it, take her out, either take her home and clean it, or if they don't feel comfortable, bring her to the emergency care. It didn't appear to be a problem to me. Okay, today the Washington State Career Conference continues. We're getting set up for the all-senior picnic, which is tomorrow.
Oh, that's, it says 25 and 26.
Well, they're setting up today.
I see, okay.
They're moving in. We had the place ready to go for them on Friday.
Hope we don't have any fights in that group.
Let's hope not. But Elvis is supposed to show up, and Roy Orbison too. So
I better go.
you never know what's going to happen with those two showing up.
Who gets to go? Is it to an all-senior picnic?
I have no idea. Whoever was invited, I guess.
Well, some people,
I wasn't
you'd
invited.
certainly be eligible. So.
They overlooked me. I'd go to see Roy Orbison.
Also this weekend is the Women's Expo. It's taking place on Friday and Saturday as opposed to the usual Saturday, Sunday. So again, Friday, Saturday. And then on Saturday night we have another Hispanic dance.
Hello.
And then
Yes.
then going into the next week, coaches meeting, and then you were missing last week. We have an RV sale coming in out in our front parking lot.
RV sale.
An RV. It's from an out-of-town operator. Last time they were in the community, I got calls from one of our local vendors complaining to me that was just a terrible thing for us to do, even though it wasn't a track. They still gave me the earful, and I would suspect that that they really are coming to track. You may be getting a call on that. I don't know that for a fact. It's let you know ahead of time, but may not like that. In addition to that, we also have a movie booked, Fahrenheit 9/11. A private individual asked to have that movie shown at tracks. That you should be aware also. Last week we let the other commissioners know.
Fahrenheit 9/11 is what kind of a movie?
That's a Michael Moore movie that was anti-Iraq war.
Yeah. And I do question that. What kind of revenue are we getting on that?
About $500.
We may take some flack on that one.
Well,
Which one's that?
We are a public facility, and it is an event that.
But we do have some say about what goes in there, though.
What is that? Which one?
Fahrenheit 9/11.
Oh.
When I mentioned that to you last week.
Yeah, we probably will get some flack from some people, but we'll get some people who want it, and jump all over us if we don't want it there. So
Well, if we turned them down, we wouldn't have any real recourse on something like that.
we wouldn't have any reason, would we? I mean, what are you going to use for a reason?
There isn't really. They want to rent a public room, and
Yeah,
they're not doing anything illegal.
might as well make
Oh.
money off of it. That guy sure became a billionaire over it.
Yeah, he's made money on that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing an admission. It's a donation situation. It's a private individual.
Well, I'm sure. The interesting part of that is many people right here in the courthouse think that's gospel truth. I've been told by several.
Oh, well, yes.
Okay.
Oh, well.
Also, next week, hockey meetings and a meeting from AFLAC. So that will go into our August operations report. But in the month of August, we had 15 events. Actually, the month turned out better than we were anticipating.
Okay, August. We had 15,
We had
okay,
15 events,
I'm with you.
5,218 for the whole month, which we did just yesterday afternoon. The biggest event we had was the Winnie Express Hispanic Dance at 2531, and that's a bunch of small meetings.
That furniture sale did all right.
Yeah, they did just fine.
They really did on it.
They want to come back.
What kind of furniture is that?
New and used.
Oh,
There's some really good deals. They had
Sure.
some really good deals.
Yeah, the furniture wasn't
I
junk.
forgot about that.
Yep. And we turn the page to the number of events, comparison year-to-date, the 15 is way short of the 44 that was held a year ago. Most of those dates, if you recall, were the Lewis and Clark exhibit. That ran pretty much for the month.
On what page? Oh, I've got a double page. I missed a page.
Okay. So our numbers are down, and August also of last year, we had a couple other events that were in the expo hall. We had the school bus drivers did some work in the school food service people, and I believe we had a food show in there last year. Burby, and Burby is gone. They're now part of another food company, so there's consolidation. That's why they're not back. So our numbers are for the month are down, but for the year, they're still pretty solid based on a year ago. On the financial side, last year we brought in $103,252 for the month. This year we brought in 87. Again, the reasons were as I indicated. The expenditures were 135 this year, 106 for a loss of 18, where last year it was actually a $32,000 on the downside. Accounts receivable of 7,000 this year, put us down for the month of 11,267, and for the year we're down 36,585. When you take the net income and then their accounts receivables, so through August we're down 36,585. When you look at those expenditures, you see that it was pretty heavy on the catering side, which is where a lot of those events were that we had. So I don't know if there's any real surprises on that. There's one other just kind of an interesting note, when you look at down on the expenditure side, on the 49.5 taxes and license, we were down we spent 17,000 there, and that's pretty close to what we were down for the month. And then last year, or the year to date.
What number's the tax on the license?
It's 45.5 or 49.5.
It's just
way
a
down at the
few
bottom.
up from the bottom.
I see it. Oh, yeah.
Just kind of interesting. We're real close to the taxes and licenses, and then if you look over on the year to date, 2 lines over, 61,000 as opposed to 61 also. This is kind of something caught my eye. In the next page is the year to date comparisons. Last year at this time we had $872,000 in. This year we have $959,000, almost $960,000 in, which is about $87,000, or a 10% increase in revenue from where we were last year, and about the same numbers.
Mr. Lowe's on the phone. He said he has nothing for the board. He asked if the board has anything for him.
I don't.
Fred?
No.
If you look at the net loss year to date, pretty similar to what we were last year, same time.
Ray, on that, I'm showing you about 73,000 down. Have you received any? This is just operations alone. This does not include any subsidies.
Right.
Because we just transferred 60.
Yeah, that just got transferred over in
Does
September.
not include what, Fred?
Subsidies.
Yes, okay, yeah.
So actually, if the city and the county both put in the 62,000 each,
So we should be on the plus side, is what you're
yeah,
saying.
that's what I'm heading. Is that right?
It should be. I mean, it came in September, for the month of September. This was for August. Is what Becky told me the cities came in last.
Oh, they sent
They
theirs.
sent
This
theirs.
is through August.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, you should be.
We should be fine.
Should be fine, yeah.
Yeah. On the food and beverage side, for the month of August, it was about a 25.6% profit this year. Last year was about 30%. $26,000 on the revenue side and $19,500 on the expense side this year. And then if you turn the page to the year to date, January through August, revenue on the food and beverage side is almost $281,000. Expenses $212,500. $68,000 profit, and that's at 24%. Well, last year it was at 19%, same month.
That
So we're
looks-
showing
That looks good.
significant.
That looks good.
We attribute that to the AmeriSuites. Again, this would have been looking a whole lot better had we been able to open in January as we had budgeted, or
Yeah.
even February for that matter. So getting in at mid-May has hurt us from where we had expected to be, but I think that we're, again, the food and beverage is doing well.
How is AmeriSuites doing as far as their people, their overnight?
I think they would always like to have more, but they have
good number through this weekend. Again, we delivered a convention for them this week, and they had 2 weddings that were drawing. They were drawing on it. I believe there was soccer going on and softball.
They should pick up pretty fair. No,
It should.
yeah.
So the aging invoice for the month, there's no issues there. Everything is going to be fine on the $7,400 that we had. And then the next issue was Franklin County and City of Pasco, and again, those are in. I believe Becky told me that would show in this. That'll be off
None of those.
records here in the next month. That's already been paid.
What is new staff training?
That is this Pasco School District new staff training.
Oh, okay.
So we're caught in the.
You'll get that.
Oh yeah, there aren't any issues with last month from our.
And here it
standpoint.
shows, the subsidies.
And then the next page is their year-to-date revenues broken out. You look at the line, we're at 70.73% of our revenues in for the year, with August being on a flat line, 66.6. And nothing really surprising there. And then on the next page, the expenditures show a 63.62% of budget spent. We looked at what we did this past weekend on the revenue. I think we're going to I don't think we're going to hit the numbers that we projected on the listener appreciation. We haven't got that all sorted out yet. We're going to be down a little bit from what we had budgeted on that. But on the other side, we picked up that Forsyth wedding that we had no revenue anticipation whatsoever, nor had we projected this leadership conference that's in at Track and Amerisuites right now. I have a list of about 20 events that were not budgeted that are going to be coming in, and we anticipate that we will add more to this list. So,
good.
Looking good.
it appears that we will stronger all the time, that we will meet our budget for the year. As we look at it, pretty close to last year.
Well, and we got 2 other things coming in this year for the full year that we hadn't had last year, and that's going to be the RV and Amerisuites.
Right. Well, we knew the Amerisuites was going to help us. And it's turning out the way we are. What we're doing now is we're doing a lot of weddings. The long term, that's not really where we want to be. We want to get those conventions and trade shows that use the exhibit hall.
The weddings
as part of it.
or shouldn't be repeat.
We hope not that the weddings don't repeat. But no, the weddings are nice to pick up $6,000. I mean, that's a nice piece of business on a short-term basis. But long-term, we can't look at that as being the end-all. We got to get those conferences and trade shows.
Absolutely.
With the trade show component and with the bigger food and beverage side of it too. So with that, that's what I got. Any questions or any comments? Okay.
Looks good.
I hope to get hold of Fred Bennett and Good Roads and get out this week and talk with your staff.
Mel's looking forward to it, and Fred will be working on that Meals on Wheels and jail stuff again.
Thank you, Ray.
Thanks, Ray.
Tomorrow, 4.
Okay. Prosecutor's not coming in. Do we have anything else?
I
Mary?
have nothing.
I don't, and unless you wanted to recess just in case something else comes in this afternoon, but
Maybe we should, just for
We'll
the
just recess until 1:30.
fun of it.
If nothing else, Mr. Ball. We are reconvening.
Hello? Okay. Hi, Tim? Hi, we're going to put you on the speakerphone, I hope.
Okay.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
Okay, turn it up, Sue.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I'm going to turn you up, I think. Okay.
I forgot to talk to you about, we got one of the old sheriff's cars that goes to auction that's in pretty decent shape. There's 2 departments that are interested in it, one being the jail. They have an older vehicle they want to swap out and upgrade. But they've never come up with any money or have any idea what it's going to cost, all that good stuff. They kind of want me to ask.
Who else wants it?
Well, Jared's been whining about his Nissan, his Pathfinder. He's having to put a lot of money into it to keep it going. We could swap it out with his Pathfinder and take the Pathfinder to auction rather than the car.
What are you looking at money on it?
I got to do some research, but I think the money as far as the jail is the difference in value, because there's quite a difference in value between the ages of the vehicles. I think it's a 92 or something they want to swap out with like a 2000. And so it's not really as much at the auction. And then Jared's, it's just the cost of taking all the stuff out of it and getting it like the way he wants it, putting the door handles back in and that sort of thing.
Why don't you come up with what it's going to cost both ways on it, will you, Tim, and bring it back to us Monday?
Okay, will do.
Okay, Tim, thanks.
Thanks, Tim.
Bye.
Bye.
I know that if the jail wants it, and they don't have the money, I'm not going to vote for it.
Heck no.
They cause us enough heartburn.
I know it.
In 241 out, some of the trades went later.
But last year when we started that, we were messing with the carryover.
Yeah, that's the big reason. There's the difference. We didn't so far plug in a beginning carryover.
Yeah, before we get started, Jared, you want to make your request? Because we're going to...
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you.
We talked about carryover here and how much we're cutting condition. Now make your request.
Well, I met with Fred this morning, and
Don't drag me into it.
you bought his line. We have our 91 Nissan Pathfinder for the planning department, and it goes out on a daily basis with Jerry, code enforcement, and Greg and I.
We heard about that. We already nixed it.
Tim is going to come back Monday with some figures on that. There are two options that.
I met with Tim this afternoon, or this morning.
Two people that want it. There he is.
One Pathfinder?
Oh.
Oh. Anyway, the Pathfinder is slowly dying. It's eating up most of our budget, and this is a vehicle we purchased with growth management money.
How much have you spent on it?
We spend approximately $1,600 a year on it, just on transmission work and motor work and on and on and on. My thought was we can try and, with the auction coming up, look at either taking some growth management money and purchasing a vehicle to replace that, and use some of the money at auction while it's still running from the Pathfinder to offset some of that cost, or see how the commissioners felt about getting into the ERR for a vehicle for planning and code enforcement. And we do have some growth management monies to look at.
How much? What, $10?
No, we could probably put more than half of the purchase price on the vehicle.
Tim was talking about that vehicle this morning,
which
that they have is a fairly good vehicle that they're going to.
Yeah, we went out and looked at it. It's got 110,000 miles on it. It's a truck. Not the one.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one we were talking about.
Right, and it's $10,000, and we can pick up a brand new one for $15,000. I was just kind of wondering what the, and then once you buy in, you're in that replacement, but you then have to, raise that one line item for our ERR by $6,000. Just kind of, it came up at the last second with the auction coming up.
What do you pay now on as far as gas? What's your gas running you a month now?
For just the
Nissan.
The Nissan, they only bill us every 6 or 7 months. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I think it's $200.
It's taking you about $3,000 a year.
And then repairs of another 16. So
I think it's
so
high 15.
Then the yearly cost is what I'm trying to get at.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Wouldn't be all that
Much different.
much. It's kind
It'd
of
be
a
a
push
transfer
once
one
you
way or the
bought
other.
the vehicle.
And
That's what I'm trying to say.
with the sale of the Nissan and some growth management money, I think that we can cover quite a bit of the purchase price of the new.
Anyhow, Tim was going to come up Monday with some figures. The jail had requested it, and your department needed one. He apparently hadn't talked to you when he talked to Wes. So we
Yeah, I talked to him after.
Yeah, so we told him to go back and come back with the conversion amount, what it would cost to convert it both ways.
You get growth management money every year,
No.
so you won't have any money to help pay for the
Ongoing? No. Once it's purchased, it would have to go into the ERR. And I don't have any money. I mean, I could, that first year I probably could, but once the money's gone, it's gone. From growth management.
ER&R sounds good, but we still have to keep buying on that thing. And it wouldn't be as much a benefit for yours to be in that as it is for the jail, because you wouldn't have to turn yours over the same way. The jail, or not the jail, but the sheriff's department, we have to turn those things with it.
You know, the reason why I told Jared to come in is because you were telling me that equipment has to be put on the list for auction by when.
Tim said he had to have the list by Monday or something.
Yeah, and today's the last day you guys are going to meet until the end of the week.
Well,
I was looking for some-
that's not accurate totally, because he's gonna come back Monday with those figures. And so apparently he'll have through Monday to do
Yes, I
that.
don't understand the figures that he's gonna come back with.
He came in this morning and said it was going to cost the exchange between the vehicle they have in the jail
Okay.
and then the exchange between your Nissan and the other vehicle, is what I'm saying. In other words, if you took the vehicle out there,
Oh.
the difference between the two is
Yeah,
whatever.
he had that figure just when I met with him.
But he didn't have it when he was in here, is what I'm saying. He was supposed to bring that back this coming Monday.
Yeah, the truck is 10,000 and Nissan's about 3,000. So it'd be a $7,000 difference. Which we could just purchase the truck at 7,000. But then we have, I'm trying to weigh the difference of, a truck with 110,000 miles on it versus a new ERR that can be turned. But that's not a decision for me.
But if we make a decision like that right at the moment,
Right.
looking at what we are, we're just adding another figure on top of that.
If we purchase a vehicle, does it have to go in the ER&R? Like if we purchase a new vehicle? Have we ever
And
purchased a vehicle that didn't go into the ER&R?
One that was for air pollution control, that was new.
That little Ford Ranger,
Yeah.
which we still have.
So I guess what you're getting at is if you purchase one outright, it costs an extra $7,000 one time, and then 8 years down the road, if you want to replace it, you just come up with extra money to do it, which would save you $6,000 a year over the 8-year period.
Yeah, and
But
I
you'd
could
still have
see
to-
where that might be a good deal versus what the sheriff, because the driving wouldn't be so.
Yeah,
Ours is very. The driving hadn't better be the same than that.
Yeah.
But I still don't think that we can answer your question right now. It's only with,
So the ER&R, what I'm hearing is the ER&R might not be a good fit for us.
No, I
I
don't
don't see
think
any
so.
point in the ER&R for your department.
Because I think you
Based
could
on-
run your car a lot longer than,
Okay.
but they turn them over.
Okay.
Now, they run the extension cars longer.
Well, they
Yeah.
run the building department's vehicles too. They have those under ER&R too.
And do they go longer than 4 years?
8
or-
years.
Yeah, ours are
8 years?
But it's $6,000 a year over an 8-year period. And that includes gas and any problems that you might have. But that, to me, that seems awful steep to run a vehicle
For $6,000.
$6,000 a year for 8 years.
We could take those two out of ER&R and just next time when they come up, auction those two rigs and get two new brand new ones and not have to pay that $6,000
Yeah,
a
that
year.
would be a saving.
Just increase maybe our maintenance budget just a little bit, but they're brand new, so it wouldn't have to be much.
Well, yeah.
But down the road,
Your fuel prices, but
How many
saving.
miles
You'd
a
have
year?
batteries and tires, down
Yeah.
the road, but
How many miles a year did they put on?
they're each averaging approximately 10,000 miles a year.
Oh, my God.
You gotta pull those two out. Save yourself a lot
Well,
of
see,
money.
they're almost 7 years old now, so they're getting close to the end of their. And we paid that whole.
How many miles? Oh my word! How many miles do they have on it?
Up there, they're at 90,000, almost 100,000, I think. 90,000
For 7 years. Yeah, and buy the new rigs and pull them out, so you're not paying that.
Yeah, because we've already paid 7 years of VR.
Well, that's a deeper discussion. We can't give you an answer today, I don't think.
Well, the reason why I told him that, what I told him, I'll just tell you outright. I said it's probably not going to happen because I know that we're running about $1 million to $2 million short, and that if you want to get that pickup, you can trade your Pathfinder in on it and take your money out of growth management and buy the truck outright, and then you have the truck. I would think that would probably be.
If he has the money in growth management to do it, but we're not necessarily going to have the money to come in and pick up any payments down the road.
And my concern with that, Fred, is that, the 110,000 miles versus, coming up with an extra, even if it had to come out of growth management, because we'll have about 20,000 left over in growth management. We could.
Well, you didn't tell me that.
Well, I just got the numbers. We could go buy a vehicle.
Out of growth management?
Yeah. And pay for a new vehicle. I didn't know if we could buy a brand new vehicle and not put it in ER.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, we don't have to do that.
Mm-hmm. And we could maybe pay growth management back a little bit at a time.
We wouldn't have to.
Well, I don't know, do you think it would be
If it wouldn't be legal, we wouldn't want to do it.
legal to do?
Well, we use the vehicle. This is a vehicle that Jerry uses for code enforcement, and also Greg and I use for, planning and growth management purposes. I don't think it would be too far of a stretch to, we do our shoreline inventories, our wetlands inventories, our land use. We're out in the field an awful lot, and we're in the middle of a comp plan.
I was going to talk to you about that.
It sounds to me like you got to put that Pathfinder up to auction, sell it, and whatever money's from that, use that with your growth management money and go buy it.
If he's got that amount of money in growth management, and we can purchase a vehicle that.
And couldn't we purchase it off of a county contract?
The state contract.
You'd have about 23,000 left. You might be able to pick up some low milers and get two if you need it.
Daryl from the shop gave me the website for all the state vehicles.
Yeah, you might for that. You got.
I think they had some 04s on there, some older ones too. So.
Yeah, it was some low milers. We got.
Maybe we could auction the Ranger, it's 11 years old. Little Ford Ranger, the Clean Air 30 rig. And
I remember that.
Maybe get two rigs.
Can you get both rigs out to growth management?
Well, with the money he'd get out of both those, and if you could just.
I think
run some figures.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, run some figures.
And I appreciate it. The urgency was the auction list had to be developed by Monday.
No, I think it can be adjusted.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, Tom. Now, any other ideas here?
Now, I'm under tab 3, and we're talking about salaries, benefits plus fixed,
Which item are you on, Neil?
On the initial baseline.
the baseline budget.
You said tab 3.
Yeah, tab 3, that's it. Tab 3, 1, 2, 3.
Well, that's where I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I in the right book?
It should say initial baseline.
Oh,
your
there,
baseline
initial
budget.
baseline, right here.
There you go, right there. No, you got it.
1 of 4.
Go back down.
Back here?
Yeah, there you go.
Where is she?
One more page. 2 more pages.
Oh, she's right.
There you go, right there. Put it down.
Put it down.
Right there. You got it.
Thank you.
That isn't just salaries and benefits. It's their fixed costs.
Plus fixed, yeah.
Okay.
The first column of numbers.
Because I was thinking, my Lord, do we have that much?
And your step is figured in this. The steps are figured in this.
Well,
The
which one are you
steps.
looking at?
Yes.
The very first one.
That one.
That one. The very first
The
column.
total is 14,972,801.
Well, that's the revenue.
No, those
No,
are
that's
No,
the
salaries and
expenditures.
The expenditures is,
Well, I was
First
looking
column.
down the green
Yeah.
bar. What exactly is
Yeah,
that
but that's
accumulate
not,
to for salaries and benefits?
Total expenditures
The
baseline though,
225.
Neva, is 16,869.
Is that like a 2.5 and 50 on insurance, or what's that 225 out of?
Down here at the bottom,
Yeah.
it would be potential COLAs and benefits associated with that.
Let me, Tiffany ran some numbers. Let me go grab those.
It was the figure we used last year is where we started. It can also include retro payments if there's any.
But we got the revenues in the last column, and the next one, the last is the
Well, what's the other base? What do you mean by
the difference is
That would be like office supplies or things that aren't really contractual in nature. Although the Superior Court number 317, I wonder if those could be the contracts we made due to.
we got 15 million fixed, is what we're saying. Is that based? Well, not necessarily fixed, but fixed. Yeah.
Pretty well. I mean, more fixed than the other base column.
Yeah.
But I mean, it'd be hard to operate without the other base.
424, 435.
Well, that would be including.
Their cars. I mean, that looks like a big.
Yeah, that never even made. Maybe would be better categorized as fixed for their vehicles. Which is 381,600. Which is probably in that figure, so we'll move that to fixed. Well, it's because it isn't a salary. You just have to kind of know that it's a fixed cost. So maybe we should put it on this column too. I mean, the bottom line isn't going to change. I think this number should be.
Well, it's going to take more than just a little bit of a wand to handle this one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more challenging than last year since our carryover is potentially not going to be there. I mean, it wasn't very big last year.
Well, we're based the carryover. We're hoping for a push to take care of this year. If that would go in the negative, that will add to this figure.
It definitely will.
Steve's requested another person.
Who has?
Steve Marks. I don't see how.
I don't know if this is going to help or confuse us. Thank you.
What is this, Frederick?
Well, we were talking about the salary contingency stuff, and I had Tiffany last week run some numbers for us. If you look up here in this area right here, your basic insurance went up for what the average employee has right now. It's going to cost them an extra $49 next year for the same insurance.
It's going to cost him.
him, her, whoever it is.
That's what I'm saying, the person.
The
yeah.
individual will cost them an additional $49. And then if you look at, say at the top, if you end up with a 1% COLA plus the insurance increase, it's $168,796. Is everybody following me on that?
No, I'm not.
Right.
On the very top line.
I see that, yes,
Okay,
okay.
so if you just run those across, if you give them the insurance increase with 1%, what is budgeted in here is $225,000 on salaries. and
I see where you're
benefits.
going with this.
Okay, so this will give you an idea of what would happen if you were to grant the increases with the
That
COLA
would-
increases.
Okay, and we budgeted in here,
Well, in here, there's $225,000 set aside for it.
225,000, so that is
Right.
basically about a 1.75%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
About,
1.5.
Somewhere right in there. But, however, this does not include the deputies because we're in arbitration or going to arbitration with them. This is just current
See,
expense. without the deputies.
is Tiffany really sure we have to go into mediation, or is that?
Oh, yeah. No, actually,
Not
we do.
mediation,
because-
arbitration.
Well, you go to mediation first, and then you go into arbitration.
I thought we were.
I thought they skipped mediation.
I thought I was told that
But
you.
Aiken told us that.
Well, yeah, but Aiken doesn't know. He's from Oregon. Are you? I would call Kittitas County.
Well, she's called the unions because they would know firsthand. You would think.
Well, they would, but
So where are we going? Arbitration or mediation?
From what
I
I'm
don't see
understanding, it's mediation.
any reason to do mediation because it's not binding.
Well, and I don't know. This is the first time I'm going through it, but what they're going to do is they're going to pick like counties based on population. And once we determine which like counties we're going to use, then we look at their benefit packages versus our benefit package. And mediation would help us there because, if we are offering the same as what the other ones are offering, what's the point in going into arbitration? Tiffany did some numbers, and I think maybe this is what it is. The county's already paying 52% of the medical insurance for family, towards family. You give the employee
That's the
X amount of
highest
dollars.
plan.
Yeah, and then you're already paying 52% more. Well, they want 90%. So you're already given 52%. So
Well, you're figuring that 52% based on what, Fred? We gave a
Based-
flat dollar.
Well, I know, but say your insurance is X amount of dollars, the county
But it's-
contributes $585.
But it's going to vary with individual and families.
That's on the highest plan.
But what I'm saying is 52% cannot be a hard figure on that.
Well, it is. Well,
Well,
it's,
for the-
it's a hard figure on your highest insurance plan. See, you offer 2 or 3 different plans. If you take the highest plan,
Yeah, no, I'm just for the sake of discussion, not argument, but different families, insurance is going to be different amounts depending on what they request.
right?
But we're just basing it on the employee, Frank,
Yes.
not families.
Well, we have been paying 100% of the employee.
Yeah, and what I'm saying, what they're saying is that they want 90%. They want the county to pick up 90%
Of the entire family.
Of the entire family.
See, of the family, not just the employee.
Right. And so with her running those numbers, you're already paying 52% of the families versus their 90.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying, Fred, and I understand what you're saying. All I'm saying is that you cannot have a hard figure on insurance on 52% because of the variation in the cost of insurance with the different size of families.
Well, no, because see, the way we are with TEB is that if you have employee, spouse, and one child, it costs the same amount if you have employee, spouse, and 10 kids.
Okay, that answers my question now.
So, but if we go through this arbitration situation, we have to determine if they win, do you pay 90% of the lowest plan offered, or do you pay 90% of the highest plan offered?
Well, I can tell you which one that they're going to want.
Well, yeah.
Would
but-
the arbitration distinguish that or not?
Very
Yeah.
definitely
Okay.
it will, yeah.
Now, when,
Well, mediation may do that if we
Yeah.
pick, if we
If
say,
we go with
say
the
that
mediation.
a like county that we agree on, we're going to go off of their benefits, and they pay 50% or 60%
Yeah.
full family. Well, you guys are already paying 52% full family.
Okay, but,
Of the maximum policy.
Right.
Yeah.
does anybody have any
I believe
idea?
that's maximum. I'll have to go ask her, but I think it is.
We don't even have any idea how long this is all going to take, right?
With them,
Well,
what, 2.5 years before they settled last time?
But then that keeps the clock running for
We're
Mr.
pulling retros off the table.
Retro, I thought we talked a long time ago, retro was off the table as of,
For medical only.
yeah.
Medical went to the quarters, percentage increase retro
Well, I
back
wish
to the
we knew,
beginning.
because
That was the past practice that we had done.
I
I
thought we,
was told through our PA's office, past practice, we had to follow that through.
but I didn't understand it that way here in our conversation. I thought that,
Well, no, because recently I went to one of those labor conferences
Yeah.
and they said, no, that you don't have to do that. Regardless if you did past practice or not, you don't have to do that.
and this
We
is
were
good.
based off of what we had heard earlier, that we had to do that, when in fact.
And we
You'd
got
set
that
a
from the PA's
precedent
office.
otherwise.
Right, and they said, no, you don't have to do, you don't
Because
have
I
to.
remembered in our discussion here that we'd put a date and said, after this, there's no retro on this
It
thing.
was on medical. But we didn't start out the negotiations with that. We started out with negotiations on medical and salaries retro back. So if we went against that, that's digressive bargaining. So when we start bargaining for salaries and benefits for the new contracts, there's no retro. If you don't settle by the time, you might give them a 30-day period or whatever, but you don't have to even give them that.
But I
as
think-
of
Why can't you cut off retro on both, on everything?
you can.
I think that in order to be tough in your bargaining, you got to get into a situation like this. I think we ought to go with no
But
retro.
yeah, we
period.
can, but we were told we couldn't do it.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying, Fred, but our conversation here, we talked about no retro as of a specified date.
Well, let me verify this on the highest plan. It is, it's on the highest plan. So if a family's picking up less than the highest plan, then you're paying more than 52% of full package. So I guess the point is that you're already being pretty generous, I think.
Grant County is paying 100% of the family.
Well, hopefully they're not going to be the county that we're picking as a.
But I believe they are, and I could be wrong, but I believe this is what they're, but that's the only one I ever heard of doing anything like that. We're better than most of them.
And that brings me to the next point that I want to bring up here, because I know it's going to be hard to make this decision, but if you decide that you want to not offer whatever, then you can save $225,000. But if you decide that you want to take care of the people, do the increases, your medical and your COLA based off of even your, the CPIs. That's going to be the hardest decision I think you're going to have to make this year.
But I don't think it boils down to taking care of the people. I think it's doing the best we can with what we have.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
Well, in fact, it's the same thing.
It seems to me like a lack of choice there. We're going to come up with what we've got to spend, and that's going to answer it.
It's going to boil down to whether people want to work or not. Really.
Because how are we going to make this budget up not knowing what that large expense is?
Well, that's why the expense is there, if you choose to make.
Covering it for the moment.
It's listed already in the deficit.
Right, it's in that $1.9 million. But don't we every year start out with a pretty healthy deficit and whittle it all?
Yeah, last year's $1.2 million, so.
But last year, did we have the carryover? What did we figure the carryover in that $1.2 million when we started with?
600 and something.
Almost 700,000. This year, we're hoping that we'll get a push, and if it goes negative, that will be the other way on top of this.
Oh, 6075 last year.
That's what we.
And it came in at 394.
We came in at
394.
So say 400,000. So.
Okay.
Every year we spend more time discussing our carryover than any other issue.
So it's nice not to have one. We don't have to get into
We
this.
don't have to worry about that. Our undercarry this year. Now, in this, have we projected in the carryover here, the 165 employees increasing into 635 a month?
The insurance.
Pardon?
No, in the budget, we have the 585, same as this year.
We left the budget left alone.
Right, so it would have to be in that 225 or the other contingency right now.
Okay. Yeah, it's 685, or excuse me, 585, so $50 increase times every employee here.
And that would be to try to keep us at the current level.
Keeps us it's $49. She just getting around to 50.
That's much easier to work with.
Yeah, but you take 200 employees, $1 a month
$200.
times 12.
That's quite a bit.
So if we kept it the same, the employees would still be covered, but you'd have like $50 less going into Viva probably. If you're paying for family members, then you'd take more of a hit.
Yeah, you take
The
$49
only ones
a month. Yeah.
that would affect that way would be the single guys that going into the Viva. The married guys, they're kicking out anyhow.
And I think she.
Now say that again.
Well, if you're single and you don't carry your dependents, then more money goes into your
Goes to
Viva.
Viva.
Uh-huh.
But it's a wash. I mean, if you have family and work, then you don't have an extra deduct.
But with
Right?
married people are having to supplement them anyhow.
Yeah,
Well,
you
yeah.
have to supplement anyhow.
Yeah, so it's like right now, I take myself and one child. It's costing I think $135 a month for myself and Dylan. Next year it would cost $184 for the same coverage on the same amount. But if say just you are insuring yourself, that's less than what the total county's contribution will be. So what they're saying is that $50 to $49 a month less will go into your Viva. You'll still be covered 100% by the county, but it's going to cost you $49 a month more for the same insurance that you're paying now for, or the county.
Your Viva won't get the hit.
Right. And it isn't the people getting the Viva that I don't consider is the problem. It's the employees that are,
the married guys.
Right.
The married guys. The
Or
Viva
the
was set
si-
up as a perk.
Or the
to
single
even
mom.
it
Or
out.
the single moms. You know, that
Well, guys, mom guys.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know.
So we've already got the figures for next year's insurance, and they went up.
Surprise, surprise.
What percentage?
Let me bring Tiffany in. She can answer these questions.
On that roundtable, I talked to Tiffany that they're going to have up at Wasack. Tiffany's going to answer some questions for us. Fred and I are going to be there. I'm not too sure Tiffany shouldn't be on that roundtable. See.
Sounds like they went around 10%.
A $50 increase from 585 is over 9.
If that's just an employee right now.
Yes.
What
How
did our
come?
insurance go up to?
Oh, I have that.
You know, the Kennewick School District has a pool where if you're married, you may actually benefit from other people not using all their insurance. So if you're single, the difference between the single rate and the total rate, if you're not using it, goes into this pool, and they have some way of distributing it.
And there's no Viva, though.
Yeah.
There's no Viva.
And that would have to be, unfortunately, that's
Yeah, that'd be
in our
hard to do.
contract.
You could do that
It
now.
This is the first place I've ever worked where there was such a thing as Viva. If you didn't use it, you just
You didn't
lost
have
that
it.
money.
Well, that's
You
where
didn't
it's
have
always
it.
That's the way it's
been
always
here.
been here too,
Okay.
but there's this new law that came that allows
Well, this is a perk to the single guy that just, that money is going back, you know. And now it's disadvantaged from our standpoint.
Yeah, when that guy first walked in on Viva, you should have run him out of here.
Yeah. Well, I think it actually was Public Works that brought him in because they wanted to do it. They actually got it together first.
The
And
percentage?
then- Not, well, the percentage, but also when Viva first came into play for the county, I believe it was through Public Works because they had their resolution done prior to the employees.
Well,
that was
except
there.
we knew about it through Benton County.
Right.
And Benton County allows it, plus they contribute to it.
Yes.
And we said
Yes.
we wouldn't contribute, but
We were
the
allowed.
excess,
We had quite a little to do with Benton County because they do contribute, and on this juvenile justice thing, on the salaries there.
Right. They contribute when the rates for retirement went down, I think they contribute what it went down. Benton County does.
yeah.
Our rates didn't go up too bad, but like, for example, under the uniform medical plan, it went up $47 for the employee only and $120 a month for full family coverage. So it's not too bad. It was about 11%. We're still below costs. Like if we went with WCIF this year, we're still below those costs. I think it'll take us another year to catch up to 2004 rates for WCIF.
But WCIF is probably
I'm
going to
sure
have to
it's
go
going
this
to go
year.
up, right. And actually, I do have the WCIF rates for the dental, vision, and life, and the dental stayed the same, the vision and the life went down. So, it didn't go down a lot, but it went down a little bit.
But they're held by different companies, though.
They're through WCIF,
Yeah.
the dental, vision, and life. And with PEB, the rates went up about 11%.
Which WCIF was going up in the 20s.
They were, for 3 years, we were up, our percentage increase was over 20%.
Yeah.
That's why we changed.
And how many employees are at the end of their step?
I had that written down somewhere too. I think there was about 30, but those included the elected officials that we put on a step 14, so I think there was 7 elected officials, so about 23 employees who are at a step 14, just in current expense.
Plus all the elected officials.
So about 30 altogether. So those are the employees, if you froze COLAs, those employees would get nothing.
Do you have any recommendations, Tom?
Well, I think we just need to first go through each budget line by line and pick it out as, down to a point where it's baseline.
But when we go through
And
everybody's
then,
budget.
then we may be able to find a few $100,000 doing that, and then we're going to have to make some decisions, I think.
But when we go through everybody's budget, every year since I've been here, we've always had it.
You get bigger?
Yeah, they got bigger. We never go through and cut. We need to go through those budgets, but I mean, we don't really make any cuts other than just go
Shall
through
we
it.
start?
Well, we always went through the revenue sides too, where
Do we have their revenue sheet here too, also?
It should be right next to each other.
Okay, so county agent,
Like the treasurer, they didn't plug in the property taxes, we just guessed at that number. We added, 1%, which is almost 50,000, plus the new construction, I think.
Did you add that?
It's 280 or something. So I'm not, that number we're going to have to look at. We just kind of thought.
why didn't she plug it in?
I don't know, I think Jenny was out of town. She had to get it to us real quick.
Well, you know what, Nita, we've always done that ourselves. Between us and Steve Morris, we get that figure. So it's typically better that we draw that number.
But
It
it's,
is.
but we've got to be
She always
extremely conservative. And
go way low. I mean, to the point where.
To a fault.
Also, the elections budget, with this crazy election season, we just plugged in this year's numbers, so those are going to change a little bit.
Did you?
It should go down next year, but it's probably going to be about a wash because the revenues will probably go down since it's not a presidential year, and the expenditures will go down. So, bottom line won't probably be too bad.
You know, you probably didn't. When you were putting this in, you were probably just putting the numbers in. Were you doing any
I
real?
put the numbers in this time, so
just
he.
plugging the numbers. Did you see anything that looked out of whack that maybe we should take a look at, or maybe what we should do is everybody should take this?
I think we should go budget by budget.
Well, I think so too.
But we can go budget by budget, but these are the figures here that have to be adjusted on, and we can go back and adjust on the budget, but
Well, but line by line, like Neve was saying, is what line by line did not get us these numbers here. This is what Tom plugged in from what was given to you by the departments. So if we go line by line, then these are going to change. They do.
yes, they do every year, Fred, and they always go up when we
Well,
go back.
we'll have to make sure they don't this year. We'll just be undoing ourselves.
But they can't.
Well, you know what? Actually, see, this year's budget is 17 million. Where are we at right now? What was that resolution we did today? 17.
Neve, you got your budget book here. What's
The 17 million 3, I think, is what it is.
about 17.6 from last year?
And see,
What is
right
it?
now, we're looking at about $15 million in revenue.
677,081.
What was it last year now?
16,677,000.
16.6.
Of course, I had those inflated jail revenue.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, if you take the 800,000 out of that, you're at 15,800,000. And do you think our revenues actually have gone down?
Well, the beginning carryover will go down, SCAP will go down. Yeah, there's some
Okay, that
revenues.
would be another 500 for that. Well, actually, yeah, 500 for that. So that takes you to 15.3.
But how much of that 800,000 are we going to get back?
Nothing.
Well, no,
15,
you think not, though, Fred?
No,
We
because
looked
we had
at it.
him in here the other day, and we looked at what, he was saying, well, they're starting to go up and this, and we looked at, he's still at 34%.
But there's no chance, not for this year, but what I'm speaking of, for next year.
Well, yeah, I don't know, I haven't looked at his numbers as to what he's projecting things for. But what I'm saying is that when we brought him in here and we were asking him about the revenue projections, realizing that they'd lost those contracts and what you're going to go to the end of the year, I think Tom and I, we added back, however many thousands of dollars that was when we made that budget adjustment.
Well,
Just
he
last
cut
week.
his budget almost $1 million for revenue.
Did he? Well, that's good.
See,
So what-
2,432,000 was in 2004, and it's 1,635,000.
For this coming year.
Give me those numbers again.
2,432,525. And this year he's showing 1,635,012.
What page are you on?
It's under 540. There's really not a big
There's
page.
no
number.
page numbers. It's
Under the 540
each
budget.
budget has 1 and 2. Page 1.
Page 1 under the revenues.
But that's the high. That's where he come in at high.
So basically, he cut $800,000 is what he did on the high side. Because he cut it, and that's what his loss.
Yeah, but if you go to the low, he even cut more.
Okay, what's
Another
the low?
400.
Another 400,000.
1,294,000.
So $1.2 million, basically, is what we're talking. So if we take we got 17,239.
If you look for this number. Okay, I got this. Okay, then, down here for revenue.
$1.2 million.
1,635,000.
That's, and then if we take out the 50,000 SCAP that we didn't lose, we're still at $16,027,000, and we're showing revenues at 14.9, almost 15. I guess my point is that we're $1 million under projected revenues this year than what our budget was, or next year. Yeah, is to what our budget was this year. So I think our revenues, we might be able to pull $1 million out of that.
Well, our
not
revenue-
over exaggerating either. Just
Our revenues obviously are up in other departments.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, we're saying that we got basically $15 million projected revenues coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Just based on this year alone, we should be pulling in about $16 million. So we're $1 million under these revenues here, subtracting out all the shortfalls that we've come in. So,
In other words, these revenue figures are pretty.
Maybe they were real conservative this year.
Maybe they were. I know it's inputting stuff. It seemed to be a lot less than last year.
Well, God, I would hope so.
So maybe what we should do is take a look at the revenues first.
Yeah, let's do that. And now,
Yeah.
the assessor doesn't
Go
have
back
any
to having numbers that many
Speak on
65 and do it,
5,000.
or you roll them over.
I don't know if I did.
Well, let's start at the first and go through looking at the revenues, period.
Oh, yeah, you can't change the numbers.
Because-
So they're still 630.
Starting with the county agents, which is,
Well, he had a potato commission.
there's nothing, they don't have anything here.
Yeah, they don't have anything.
But we can go in there.
They had a potato grant, yeah, 2003. And then assessor has very little. They're down $300, I don't know.
It says 832,004,
But it's
but
actually
it's still a
six.
6-month figure.
The assessor doesn't have any revenue to speak of.
Then auditor,
Now let me ask you, Tom, when you plug those revenues in, did you plug in the low, the average, or the high?
If they had them there, I did.
But it's the
You plugged
average.
in
The
which?
baseline is based on the average number.
You plugged in the average all the way through.
On the baseline, yes.
Yeah, okay.
You see three numbers here, but to compute our deficit, we use the average.
but see, Zona on the auditor, her average is down 11,000. See hers on filings and recording sheets, is it going to go down that much?
Well, average
I think
is-
it was just based on this year. At June 30, we had 82,000. So if you double that, that's 165,000, say. So
Well, isn't she down 20,000? Am I looking at this wrong? The average is down 20,000 over what the two. Okay, actual just down.
yeah, so it's mostly based on the actual, and it seemed like for some reason that was going
Okay, on the actual is down 9,000. Yeah.
And I don't know if that, is that a trickle down from the, maybe there's less housing sales, there's less recordings?
Well,
So when someone does that, I feel a little better about their budget.
If it's more conservative?
Well, they've got a reason for making the reduction because they know that we're looking for dollars.
Are we looking at the same page here? We're looking at the auditor's current expense?
Yeah.
Right.
Where she's actually brought in right now 82,000.
At 630.
And those are 6:30, not 8:30.
At the end of this month, we'll go ahead and roll those up to end of September figures, and we'll have a good 3/4 year.
We looked at the 203 actual. She's down as 203 actual as compared to the average for 205 is where we got the 11,000.
no, I don't know where you're talking, Frank.
I think you went from 199 to 188 is 11,000.
Oh, I see. Her projection was 199 for 2004. And where did
I'm
she?
looking at, I see what you're saying, yeah.
So really looking at these actuals is not going to help us that much at all at this point.
Well, because they're 2003s.
Well, I wonder if we could get a printout. The treasurer should
No,
have a
what
current
we're-
printout, shouldn't they?
We're doing the first 6 months of this year, Frank, which is 82,251.18. See, 2004 to
yeah.
8/30/204. That's really six.
That's really
Yeah, it's really 6.
6 months, yeah, and what I'm saying is that if we had a current revenue, then that would give us a little better look at the end of the year.
Do you want me to go get one?
If we could get that, I agree with you, Fred. I think we need to have that because
Now through September, Jenny's office should have it, Mary.
I don't think Marie or Becky's here today. But it's going to give us, because most of our revenues come at the end of the month, so it's not really going to give us a good quarter.
Yeah, but if we have through September 30th.
Shouldn't have given it through August.
We can run one through
August.
That's 8 months. Just to see if he's a home
I'm
assistant.
in October already.
You just want to have that birthday, that's all.
No, I don't.
Or you're trying to get
You
past
better
it,
you
Joe.
better want to have it, David, because the alternative is not very good.
Well, I know that.
So,
And the way you're falling apart,
Yeah, geez, all of a sudden.
Sorry, John.
That's okay. We can run it for August, and take that percentage and see. And
If this is for 6 months, it's pretty easy to break it out.
yeah, so I'm not sure maybe if that's going to be any better than having a 6-month cutoff and then an even 9-month cutoff.
But this is only 164,000 for the year, if based on 6 months. It's only 100 that's less than the projected or the budget. If that's the way it is, she's still 35,000 low.
But still over.
She would be 35,000 low if that were the case. If the 82,000 would run consistent.
Yeah. And it may be something where, like, if you look at auditor recordings, historically, 2003, 169.
Mm-hmm.
2002 was quite a bit less.
But look at 2000.
So we're at 60.
2003 was 200,000. But
No.
look at the.
It was 126,000.
For 2002.
2003.
Oh.
200,000 was the actual, wasn't it? 200,332.
Well, I was just looking at that one particular line item. Yeah, that's the actual 200,332. That was 2003.
Yeah.
2002 is 151.
Yeah.
So 188, I wouldn't think would be unreasonable.
No, that's probably pretty close. Although.
If you base it, but
you're going to have that 1,000 lot subdivision.
Yeah, it's coming in. They just came in and recorded a whole other plats. Big time.
well, that'll help us in.
When they every deed, every mortgage. I mean, that every filing, they're different filings, and there's a different charge.
Actually, I've got an 8-month one here from our
I do
finance
too.
committee. 56%.
Yeah, you multiply that out. If it stays average, she'll bring in 168,755.
Yeah, we're at 164 based on this.
And so with that 188 may be a little bit aggressive. If, is there a peak season for this, Tom? Do you know?
I really don't know.
What was happening was there was a lot of mortgage refinancing. A lot.
Because of
the interest rate.
That was last
slowed
year.
down. Yeah.
That was last year. And that's
and
where you got the
still-
200,000, see?
There's been somewhat this year, but not as much.
I refinanced this year.
There's been some. I think
But this year I did it.
Yeah, but there's been some, but it's slowed down.
But there hasn't been, last year interest rates went down and down and down, and people were afraid they're going to start up.
I was
This year they
stupid
stabilized.
that I didn't do it last year.
But they're
I
stabilized.
did it.
Are they still under 6% though?
And then I paid it off, so what difference did it make?
Are they still under 6%? I think they are right now.
Oh, yeah, mine is.
So you didn't do bad then.
No, but I think it was 575.
So, I guess based on that, I'd probably take the low instead of the average.
Not a lot, but it's something.
That would have been.
Based on what it's doing this year,
Your loan.
you're going to have to. If you
And
go high, we're going to be
it's only $94
Hurting.
more.
hurting again, yeah.
That's something.
Didn't it? I know it.
If nothing else. Yeah, I take, well, if you take the low, if you just run this average out, I mean, that'll take you to $169,000.
Save that money and buy 'em.
One thing
Buy 'em
too,
neat,
though,
try to, of course, house it.
we've just filled out the
Yeah.
our accounting services for half the year. That's something we didn't collect last year. This year we budgeted $8,000. So we're going to receive another $7,500 approximately in that, which would change that.
You received that from
track, irrigation district, emergency management, pest control, and noxious weed. We're billing out for mostly our payroll services, but some other accounting services.
Well, and what about emergency management?
We do them too.
All those? No, you should absolutely. You should receive a fee on that.
Yes, the 6-month
And
figure
can
doesn't
you-
have any of
Can
those
you bill
in.
out to the jail and?
Because that's Robin didn't
And-
pay Paul on that thing.
Bill them out so that City Pasco would pay half of it. We don't.
We should.
But I think we usually give them a number where they factor that in.
I think it is. It's built into the contract.
It's built into the contract. We can't adjust that.
Okay. Well, I just wondered because,
It should be built
No,
into
it's
the
a good,
contract.
it's a good thought, but, back
well,
here.
and then I was thinking of dispatch too.
So really, if you take the 168 average and then add the $10,000 or whatever we're going to bill next year, it's not going to be too different.
So the 188 is a good figure.
It'll be more reasonable if you took our accounting services times 2. Or
So you're saying leave the 188?
I would for now. We can always later, once we get a...
As per Tom, leave
It's only going to
the-
be off 10,000 or less.
But why don't we put our accounting services in there, Tom, so we have them?
He's got them.
Well, it is in there, and we just got a couple checks.
Oh, I see. It's already reflected in 188.
Yes.
Yes.
And it had not been before. Okay. I'll buy into your story.
Okay. Well, we received $500 from the noxious weed. They paid early.
Okay.
Okay, what about the license department? I see that went 300, 314, 320.
Not what it used to.
320.
Well, at the 8:30, there was 228, 377. And I don't know if this is an annual. I think I would guess have more revenue in the summer.
Not necessarily. Because your license,
The only thing that happens in summer is the boats.
Aren't there more purchases of vehicles in the summer? And
I think more in December. You know, when the old year, like the 2004s will go on sale.
September and October, I think, maybe.
So if it was annualized this year, we'd receive 342, 566.
Mm-hmm.
So the 335
That's a
looks
good
pretty
figure.
conservative.
335, you feel is conservative, Tom?
Mm-hmm.
You came out with the 342, is that what you did?
Yeah. That's what we received in August, 228, 377 divided by 8 times 12. Comes up to 342, 565.
You want to change it?
To 340?
Or 566.
So what did we get the previous year? We got 300 and 314.
314 the previous year is actual. Why don't we just go leave it where it is? I mean, 5,000 will help us, but it won't make much of a change.
Now I'm wondering. Now that's for auto sales, right?
Well, it's for
It's everything.
your cabs.
Your tabs.
When you renew your cabs, you get a filing fee.
You know what? Actually, if think about, I guess what I'm thinking about is if we've got a heck of a population growth here in Franklin County, that would probably account for that
And-
jump, because people are buying their tabs here. If we, what would we grow, 15% or something?
I don't know, Rick, but I can't remember what that.
So right now, if you've got the 335 budgeted into your revenue, and right now we're at 340, almost, well, 342.5. If you take the end of the year, that might account. I'm just trying to understand why we made such a jump, and I think with the population growth.
Well, our growth certainly has some
This
impact on
helps.
it.
It looks like it's, well,
Yeah,
I let it out.
I know the states is,
Well, and
Zona would know better than I. They've talked about taking that function away from the counties. So I haven't heard anything about it in a while. So.
Well, we lose revenues too. We lose some expense.
You're going to lose some help, you know.
Yeah, I think they still make a $100,000 profit.
This is one of the ones that generates profit.
This creates a profit. This one doesn't.
Our license makes money.
Expenditure budget is 123.
742.
They make almost $200,000.
You know, actually, I'd probably go with the 340 myself.
But I think so.
All right, we'll put 340 then.
Does it make sense, the logic of it?
Well, now,
I just
you
don't
need
wanna-
to make notes on
Per
there
Fred, okay.
Yeah.
for the elected official to know that we did it. Huh?
Well, that's our budget, so
Okay.
I'll let her know.
All right, now elections.
That's the one that. Go ahead.
Marie and Becky are both out, and Jenny doesn't have access to AS400 system to make everything out.
I think we're all
There's no
right.
reason Mary has to stay here and take, we're keeping track.
Okay,
We're just doing a budget, really. We can adjourn and let her go on this thing and do what else she has to do.
We're just recording.
Well, we're just recording,
Yeah.
so can't we just keep it on? And won't it record?
We'll just try to remember to shut it off.
Shut.
Well,
I'll remind you.
The trouble, you know, when we go to recall and somebody accuses of changing their figures,
So,
we want a record.
if they accuse us of changing the figures, we're going to have them sign off on every budget this year.
Yep.
So there won't be any argument on that.
Yeah. So if you just leave it on, then Mary, if you want to go home or have something else to do. We'll adjourn to budget workshop. Do you want to put that in?
Are we on the election budget?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one we're probably going to have to leave alone until we talk to them.
With that election one.
I think the expenditures are going to be too high and the revenues are too high, so we probably won't change the bottom line too much.
Both of them are too high.
They're based on this year, which was a presidential year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So planning and building. We can certainly do some cutting and slashing here, don't you think? On the expense side.
Yeah, we could probably hack out a whole $25. Never.
Are we looking at the revenue here?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is one budget that just cannot continue to grow. I don't know. Boy.
Well, we can take the tuition and schooling out since it adds up all the time. That'll save our budget right there. We can all go home now.
What?
Taking the tuition and schooling out.
Well, see, I'd like to do that.
We may have to take it out from everything.
Because, you know, do people want a job or do they want to go to schooling on their own dollar?
They can always deduct it on income tax, can't they?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, that's what the world always did, was pay for their own education.
Huh?
That's what the world always did, was pay for their own education.
Yeah. School teachers certainly have to, and to keep their job, they have to get masters and continuing education. They certainly don't pay for it.
Wonder what that would take out of our budget if we just pulled that all out.
I don't know.
The training?
Yeah.
Or
Well,
schooling?
not so much training, because...
Not for, like, conferences, but
Yeah.
schooling. I don't think there's really that much in there
Or Ensign.
But then you come down to the things, what do you do about deputies?
Well, we
You know.
didn't say training.
You know, that's, and it's tough, and I don't disagree with you, but there's differentiation
Is that
here.
under
Let's see, where did I see it? I looked at, it's on the,
tuition?
I think
yeah,
planning.
tuition, schooling. It's nothing
Well,
on
they've
this
really-
budget. I mean.
This year annualized is almost 350,000, but next year they're budgeting 269. So are they seeing a real trend downward?
Who's that?
Well, it's gut
Building
level.
planning.
It's gut
You know,
level
the
law.
whole thing is,
If you go
each
back to
one
the
is nothing, but
2002,
when we get down to it, we're down
I mean,
to
he's only,
you know,
282.
yeah, 282, where his high for next year is 289.
Might as well take it out.
And they just got to, you know, it's hard to say.
What they're doing here, though, is they talk to the builders and they talk to the guys in the field, and they're trying to make this based on the activity of building permits. And apparently they have slowed down.
You can prove it.
Well, that graph he gave us showed us that it slowed down.
Pardon?
That graph he gave us, or whatever you call
Yeah.
that, showed us that it slowed down.
Then Fox turned around and turned in another subdivision. with
Yeah.
Curb gutters and sidewalks, or at 30 new lots.
But
Now it'll go back up.
and this is good, but
But boy, that's not going to
someone
continue
has to buy those.
forever.
Someone has to buy those.
That's true. So just leave it at the average.
I
I mean,
wouldn't-
that is a gambling.
Oh God, I don't know. I think they've done an excellent job, but I don't know how you predict on that. If it comes in more, great.
Still seems low.
Well, at the half year, they got 135, almost 136,000.
And that would come out at 272,000 even.
Let's see what they got on the latest report. we
At the half year, it'd come out 272. If we just stay the same, this has been a good year.
And his high here is predicted at 200, so he's cut that back 50,000.
Well, over last year.
Uh-huh.
Over last
got.
year.
Well, based on his 8-month report, that'd shoot up over $300,000.
For total revenue, I got 349,677 based on this year.
For total, where
For 8 months.
Yeah, if you look at 8 months, which is 233,118, divided by 8 times 12 was 349,677, which is still under his budget this year of 357. It's a lot more than he's got budgeted for next year.
Oh, we must be looking at a different report, Tom, because I'm showing
Yeah, I'm
him
looking at 2004.
200,320.
Or are you just looking at that one? I was looking at the total revenues for his
Planning
department.
and building.
well, I'm looking at the page that's got 269,850 here.
850.
269,850 is the
No,
one.
050. That's a zero.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
269,050.
Right.
You're
Yeah, and
correct.
he's just looking over to the 2004 as amended.
You're
Is
right,
what
it's
Tom was
249, almost 250,000.
This year.
Yeah, and so far this year alone, he's got, well, as of the end of August, was 233.
Well, why don't we ask them why they?
Let's
You know,
put a question mark by that.
Yeah, ask them why the revenues are.
Because it's not going to go down that much.
Yeah, he told us when he came in here last time, he said, you know, it's such a crap shoot on this one. When he did that department upgrade the other day. I think you could probably, I mean, you're only talking $20,000. I think you could probably go with the high one because
Well, look at his the license.
I don't
We're
see
already.
Well, licenses are going to remain pretty consistent, except with the annexation.
I just don't see any slowdown in construction out there, and it could happen overnight, but I haven't seen any slowdown.
Well, you may be perfectly right. I certainly can't argue that you're not. But I think we can't base our budget on that. You know, I think we have to figure a little conservatism in it.
Well, I guess where I'm coming from, if you've got budgeted $357,000, basically you go down, that's taking it down $60,000 to take his high one.
Yeah, but what we need to do is have him come in and ask us why he made that reduction in it, and then go from there.
So then we'll do.
Yeah, that'll make it a lot simpler than.
Just call him. Oh. Okay, let's see what the clerk did on their revenue. Now, this child
Mr.
support
McPherson, could you
enforcement,
come to the Commissioner's office, please?
I don't know why that went down. Because we had 61,000 in 2002,
They got their notebooks.
almost 4,000.
Where are we at?
I see.
Where are we going to?
Clerk.
Correct. Child support?
Well, child support's gonna get refunded as spent.
Well, I'm supposed to have been pretty
That would
diligent
be
in getting it back.
It went down. It said state has reduced their share from 62,000 to 41,000. Put it down.
Oh. And then state share title.
That went down too, from 21 to 13,000.
Which, let's all be on the same page here. What's the line item you want on this?
Child support.
Well, now, what is your excuse for this? We spent a lot of time discussing this mess that you presented to us here, Jared.
We're talking about this, Jared. Your revenues for your building. This is what average, when the budgets come in, they run this. This is what the budget's based on.
Okay.
And, you know, and you told us that, you know, based on year to year, it's really hard to decide what you're going to do. So the discussion is this more realistic than this? And based off of your projections, if you continue on the way you are, you're going to bring in $350,000, which is quite a bit under your projections for next year. So
Under the high figure.
we're wondering, just, you know, I mean, maybe you've got some insight that obviously we don't have, and don't want to talk you into anything.
Right. We just want to know why you gave us these figures, because they're important.
And that's what I struggled with really, is looking at the projections from recent weeks, and you know, each time we have a building report, the numbers fluctuate so much week by week. We're only really averaging $2,000 to $3,000 a week in building permit revenue over 52 weeks.
Mm-hmm. What did you say? Say 2,500.
Yeah, say 2,500. But sometimes they're 10, sometimes they're 1,000. So I was trying to be real conservative.
I noticed when you had those figures, we had a couple of real spiked months there, as I recall.
Yeah.
You know, I
There
guess,
was
Jared,
about
maybe to help
5
you out
months.
here is that, you know,
5 months were better, but two
have
spiked
have you heard anything out there like, you know what, this is all coming to an end?
Well, I talked to George Dockstader this morning. He said he's seeing more movement of existing houses and less new construction. But that's just one person.
So you're not hearing general discussion out there that, you know, things are winding down?
I hear that things are slowing down, but then I hear other things, you know, like larger companies, you know, looking at the area for distribution centers and other things. So, you know, it's really tough to, but, you know,
Well, if you were going to pick one of these three numbers and feel comfortable...
Pick a number, Jared, be comfortable with.
Which one would you do?
Close your eyes and throw a pin
Dart, yeah.
If these, you know, looking at our actuals from last year, I mean, look at 2002, we did an actual of 282.
Right.
Thank you.
We took a significant increase. We're gonna have a hard time meeting this budget at 357, aren't we?
Yeah, I think based on the projections that I had, you were going to be in at about...
Probably 315.
So you're coming in under what you estimated then.
Well, for October, November, and December.
Yeah, you'll be pushing at 350.
which is close.
So you'll be within $7,000 to $8,000.
But his business license are up probably that much. I thought that's what I saw.
What do we budget for business licenses?
But annexation will take away a
41,950.
That's what we budgeted. 41,950.
And you got
Business license.
39,656.
Well, we've taken in as of like last week. I think we're at 41.5.
Okay, so you budgeted basically 41,950, 42,000. So
you're going to be there with no problem.
yeah, so it's probably not going to make the 7,000 up completely, but
You know, I wouldn't have, I don't feel too bad about going with the 289, but to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't make that.
the 289, well, then we're not going to use that number.
Let's go put it about 270, or let's go with the 269 then.
Just leave
That's
that.
what they've got.
Yeah, let's stay with the 269.
And I hope I'm wrong.
Well,
There goes your car.
Well, what do you think?
No, I was
Out
so
of here.
tempted to say that, but
How much you missed on this year's already? You figured not going to make
Well,
this
we
year's
haven't
budget.
yet, but, you know.
You overestimated your revenues this year.
He's got the balance of this month
And October
And
is
November.
usually our biggest month.
and November and December, and you're going to get some people in to get their permits so they can
But
get
you feel that you did overestimate this year's revenue.
It's too early to determine. From the trends early in the year, I thought we were going to do 300,000 easily, and then it just
It's really slowed up.
it has. It really has.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. McPherson. I appreciate your honesty.
have some pie.
Just have some
Have a
fun.
piece of pie.
I'll take a piece back, but I'm not going to promise that I'll be the one that eats it.
Oh, it won't even make the end of the hallway.
Put it, eat it in the closet, but it's just worth the same.
Is this somebody's already? Or
It's yours.
No, it's yours.
So,
You can have my piece.
thank you.
Thanks, Jared.
Thank you.
If we couldn't harass Jared, what would we do? You have to have something.
It still seems a little low, but I mean, it's
Yeah.
conservative for now.
Our bright
We can
spot.
always adjust it next year if it.
Yeah. But I think it's good, that you do talk to somebody and how they came up to their figure or with their figure. Okay, we're on the clerk now.
Well, theirs seem a little low too.
Well, remember I said,
Mid-year's 150 and their average is 250.
but remember he said he was losing some grants.
Well, they're going to fill that collection position, aren't they?
No,
They were going to hire,
They
yes.
did,
Yeah.
they did. But see, this is what he went
That's
from
going to pay for
62
itself.
to 41 there.
Isn't that right, Brad?
And from 21
That
to
collection
13.
position, he said they're going to fill it. I said, that's going to pay for itself, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
30,000.
Plus.
That's a $30,000.
But we're talking about.
Yeah, but look
we're on
what he
district
had in
court.
2002.
County clerk.
Two, 3,009,
We're still-
Oh, we are.
321.
We have probably 300 this year.
I was running some
Pay
numbers.
attention, everybody.
Oh, and he's really, that's only 30,000, wow. Everybody's being very conservative, seems to me.
But,
Well, I think we should question him on his revenues, because if you look at 2002, 3, and what he's done all up to now in 2004,
let's call him, have him come down, and we can come down. Is he in today?
Mike, as far as I know, he is.
he's got 200,000 already. And he's got,
Well, now, I'm not looking at that
well,
same figure.
Frank,
Neva.
look at this little white sheet. This is through August, is it?
This is through June, last
Yeah,
June here.
Yeah, this
Right.
June.
In the green bar, but
Yeah.
this one's August.
The white bar is through August.
Should we, do you want us to call him?
Yeah, please, would you? Just
Maybe
have
he
him
could
come.
just call us. Talk
Maybe
to
he could
us
tell us on the
speakerphone.
phone. Yeah. You're,
It's 3525, Tom.
but it's the same. It should figure out the same one, David. It'll get on the average on the same. Just get him on the speakerphone.
27.
Shanghai Tom of the Commissioner's Office. Hey, is Mike Killian available?
As of the end of August, he'd already brought in over $200,000.
Hey, Mike. This is Tom, the Commissioner's Office. Hey, we're just going through the preliminary go-through on the budgets, and we were looking at your revenues. Would you better, I guess you're on the other side of the world now, aren't you? Can I put you on speakerphone? You got a minute?
Oh, that's right, he's not upstairs.
We were all thinking you just run downstairs, but it's not that easy anymore, is it? Okay, we'll make it quick. Or I'm going to put you on speaker. There's nobody in the audience, so you'll be all right. Can you hear us?
No swearing.
Can you hear me now? We can hear you now.
A little louder, Mike.
Turn up the volume, Thomas. Thomas, you can do the volume.
What do you need?
Well, we're looking at your past revenue. In 2002, you had over 309,000. 2003, you had 320,000 plus. And you're through August, you've already brought in 200,000. And you've really cut your revenues back.
Your high anticipated revenue is 260,000 for this coming year, Mike. We were just curious as to.
Let me get my paperwork out, okay?
Sure.
Okay.
He's not going to give any Superior Court other penalty money?
Okay, well, looks like I didn't make a copy of that. Let's see. Well, yeah, I didn't make a copy of that. I don't know why. I thought I had. Anyway, so do you want me to review them again?
Please. Please, if you can review them and we can discuss it at a later date if you don't have them now, Mike.
We'll put a question mark by your revenues.
Okay.
Okay.
And then if Tom can just give me a copy, I'll look at those again.
Yeah, we'll send those
I'll be
to you.
real conservative on them.
Looks like you're due on October 27th at 3 p.m. So
Right. But if you can give me a copy ahead of time,
But we need
I can
to,
review
we
it
want
again.
your opinion a little ahead of that time because we're
Yeah, I'll
trying to
send
find
you-
out where we are.
And then maybe you just mark it up and send it back to us.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Thanks, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Mike.
All right, no problem.
You know, my own opinion is until we get these revenues figured out, there's no sense in even meeting with those departments because you just be adding stuff. And, you know, if you can figure out where we are money-wise, where you say, okay, you've got $500,000 to add something, then you can talk to them and say, you know,
I couldn't agree more. I think we need to get these revenues in line before we go anywhere.
so even meeting with these people that are scheduled, we
Doesn't
should
mean
just
anything.
tell them all we want to do is go over your revenues. We can come back later and go through the rest of it, but we want to talk revenues when you get here. Don't give me your wish list and your wants.
There's no point in it because it's a kind of a feel-good thing and you can't, you give it to him and you got to take it away. No, that's an excellent suggestion. But we can set up the meeting with these people, but we need to go through these kind of ahead of time, find out where we are. But
Yeah, I think I'll have Bridget or Pat send out a memo to them that our budget hearings, the first go-around will be just to discuss revenues. Please review your revenues and come to us
And
for discussion.
some people like the agent, there's no reason for them to even come in. And the assessor has got very little revenue, but has some, but very little.
Well, he could maybe help us with the taxes.
Well, if we send that memo out to everybody, then, you can always work on, well, of course, you're getting ahead of yourself again too, but, until you figure out how much
goodness.
money you have.
Yeah.
I guess we have to add all those figures up. I'm looking at Terry's 35310,
Well, let's.
traffic infractions and penalties.
260.
Well, let's go in sequence here, though.
Well, nobody else had any revenue, Frank. That's what I've been doing, is flipping the sheets over. Superior Court, she just has that 20,000 that she's getting reimbursed.
The corner does have revenue, not a lot.
8,000.
8,300 projected, yeah.
Miscellaneous boards don't have anything. None to district court.
I know Becky has done some rearranging of her revenue since this. We rolled that over at 6 months.
Okay.
So the white bar sheet at the end of August will be better.
Okay, the white bar.
The white bar.
Okay. So we got 250,000 out of that 442.
Yeah, the white bar, we're page number on that or not?
It's page 3.
Page 3.
It looks a lot better on this. So at the end of August, they were 62.5%. Just a little less than our budget. Put 375 for average revenues.
Well, this is to, in the green bar is to 830 on district court.
Well, it says 830, but actually it's 630.
Pardon?
It's 630.
It's actually 630.
It's June.
It's June.
That's a June figure.
No, that's a June figure.
It
just
was
says
printed
8.
out on the date of 8/20.
Excuse me, Tom.
I'm sorry, that was my fault, not Tom's.
Okay. It wasn't Tom.
Yeah, there's a different menu to roll over the program.
And I didn't know there was that many. Did I know that?
So she's got 375 budget. Looks like as of August 31st, there's 250,000. Assuming we're mixing apples and apples here. We're looking at 353.10 traffic infraction penalties.
53,310 on page 3. This one right here.
Okay.
Right here, traffic infraction penalties
Yeah.
/ district court. She's brought in 250,000. Her
Budget
budget's
442. She's brought it.
She's at 56.51%.
But if this is through August, this says 9/20/04 on the revenue up here.
That's when they
That's when it was printed.
And so this is through the last day of
8/30.
August then?
Yes. A better program would probably have that date on the top through 8/31.
Well, based on what she's doing, she's not gonna. That's not gonna be too fat on that.
I don't think she's gonna make this year's budget.
Doesn't look like it to me. You know, she's taking in an average of 30,000, 31,000 a month. And they got 4 months to go. There's 120,000. She's not gonna make it. Not gonna make this year's budget.
Are you looking at bottom line, Frank, or just that one line?
Just that one line item.
Yeah, but look at month to date, she's bringing in almost $63,700. And she's got 4 months left.
Yeah, but that's her big revenue right there. Big revenue. So we're budgeted 756, which isn't up much from the actuals of 2003, but
No, but she may come in under $30,000 at this rate.
Yeah, but, you know, typically the holiday season is where she ends up picking up her, it's kind of, that's it.
Merry Christmas.
Well, it's true. I mean, I've heard her say that more than once with all the different.
Oh, what a sure forgot you are. We're figuring our budget. We gotta sell more booze here. Oh, Lordy.
You know what I think would be kind of helpful is there any way, Tom, that we can get an idea when some of these departments are having their most,
Their peak
their
months,
revenues, their peak months?
Well, specific line items we can run it for every line item, but we can run like a year to date for like last year. You know, it'll give us every deposit, and so you can see trend information that way.
Can you do a month by month report? Just a bottom line month by month revenue?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
If you did that, then we can see what your high and your low months are. And if we got, you know, the remainder, because we can do the eight month average,
But now what you're asking for is like last year, what the high and low months were for last year. And that might be helpful to see the revenue in that, because they're going to have trouble making the budget this year.
well, the way this is projected, she's going to be $50,000 short.
Yeah, she's going to have trouble
But
making
she,
it.
you know, if she picks up the extra 50 in the last 4 months of the year, I think that would be helpful.
And that would be interesting to look at, maybe a two-year look at that.
Could you do a 2-year on that?
For this particular one?
Yeah.
You know, maybe your high dollar budgets mostly. You know,
Like
the revenue ones?
Your revenue line
The
item.
ones for the finance committee where I have like top 1% ones, I can run it for all those.
that might. Well, that would be a good start. Because you know, like our district court right here, that's a high revenue.
Oh my!
And basically Superior Court would be another one too. And actually, maybe even the jail, but like you said, the top percentage. Let's see, because some of the smaller budgets really don't amount to much. You can probably take those smaller budgets and add up that $450,000 and call it good.
Because for sure, on her projections, we can't. But now, her average is not. You figured in the average, and so her average is figured about 47,000 less than last year's actual.
Look at the bottom line there.
Yeah, she budgeted for 756. So, you know, it should be.
Even her high is less than what she budgeted this
Oh,
year.
yeah. So, we might be all right with her, what she budgeted for next year on this thing, but I would still like to see those figures on that. Because she's budgeted for this next year about what we figured should be off this year, and she's budgeted for 756 this year. And we're looking at her being off 50,000.
Why would last year be such a good year compared to?
Yeah.
Unless, like Fred says, if we come at the end of the year.
I think, you know, it just kind of knew, and this would help us in future budgets, to just know what the history was in those last 3 or 4 months here. If we can remember one thing from one year to the next.
You know, actually, we're going through this. To me, I think it would just be better if we send that memo out and tell them we want to talk about their revenues and have them come in.
Yeah.
Instead of us sitting here going through.
Trying to
I think
figure.
we've come up with some good ideas on what we should do,
Because every one of them, we're going to have to talk to them about the
Right.
revenues.
Yeah.
every one of them.
And have them, and if we can get the, what we're asking for, then we can have some good questions to ask them.
Mm-hmm.
And then try to get this revenue figured out first.
That's a good idea.
And that's all we would discuss with them, just revenue.
Just revenue.
No, I think that's because there's no sense going through that wish list. We've gone through that every year, and there's so little is granted on it, it's just a kind of a feel-good thing, and nothing happens.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're mad when we don't give it to them.
Well, if we go through the revenues with them, each one of them, and then send out a sheet that basically states, this is what, your revenues are, and have them sign that, then you can start balancing the budget based on those revenues. And when you start making cuts.
You've got to, we need to come through and have them go back and balance their, well, they can't do that either because some of the departments there's no way they can balance. They just can't.
Well, I think, again, if we can get the revenues narrowed down, say, okay, this is what our revenues are. Okay, now this is what your requests are. I mean, when you get the bottom line of the revenues and they all sign off on them, this is what you have to deal with.
And that was one of the main purposes of the baseline is to do that. But I think some of the revenues aren't close enough yet.
I don't think so either. Because I can't believe that our revenues next year will be less than the revenues we're going to receive this year by $1 million, based on the 1% growth, based on the $280,000 of new construction. Maybe we've lost some programs, we've lost other things, but I can't.
The only
see
revenue
we go down in revenue.
The only revenue that would be less that we classify as a revenue is the carryover.
Right.
Everything else has got to be more. Everything else should be more, except what we lost the sheriff's department. And then you can go back and look at district court, and that we can't say. But anything else where the growth of the economy, we've grown. It's got to be more.
Yeah. Well, I took out the sheriff's department, the SCAP, all that stuff, and we're still $1 million short on our projected revenue. Even taking out all those shortfalls that we have this year, we're still $1 million out. That $1 million is a lot of money.
Yes, it is. No, I think because every one we've come across, we wanted to talk to the guy that had the department.
Yeah.
So why don't we schedule,
That might be
rather
more
than go any further, why don't we just schedule them in and take them in one at a time here?
You want to just stay with the existing budget workshops and have them talk about revenues during
Yep.
those existing?
Let's just keep them, but we don't need the time that we got on that thing, Fred. Because you look at the times and I
Not
think
for revenues, though.
Pardon?
Maybe if you just do revenues, when we put that together, it was for everything.
Maybe if we cut everybody down to about 15
About
minutes.
15 minutes for everybody to come in, and we could take a bunch of them and go through these. And it doesn't take long to go through the revenues and take care of this discussion.
Yeah.
Like
Or maybe it'd be better to find a different day, and then we could do all the revenues in one day.
I think so.
That would
I was
work.
going to say, I don't know if we want to wait this long with the schedule. It goes clear.
As quick as
Release
we can,
myself as quick as we can
can bring
get
them in.
this.
As quick as we can bring them in and just do the revenue.
Then we could leave those the same for the
Yeah.
Leave this alone.
Maybe we wouldn't need that much time.
Well,
Or what we could do is maybe, Fred, we could rework that to the 24th or the 4th of October. We could do revenues,
Yeah.
and then we could move all those departments down since we don't need as much time.
The 4th of October is what day?
it's
Monday.
Monday. Can't, you know what? Since well, you're not going to meet Wednesday, so you're still going to have a commissioner meeting.
What's the matter with Wednesday this week?
You guys aren't meeting?
I'm out of town.
Oh, that's right.
We'll have to get Pat involved with this.
What about Thursday or Friday this week?
I'm still out of town.
How come you're out of town so much?
Well, you kind of got me going in different directions, I guess. I'm at your whim, so, tell me I don't have to listen to a bunch of boring lawyers for 3 days, and I'll stick around.
But now Monday, can we do it this coming Monday?
We can. You have a budget. You know what? Can we? I mean, maybe what we ought to do is just send out memos to everybody as far as the commissioner meetings. If you've got something you've got to do Monday, let us know, and we can do it maybe in 2 hours, and then we can start budget workshops at 10 and work all day.
Why don't we do that and get them, because we need to get to them as quick as we can. Yeah.
Because you'll have payroll then.
Oh, payroll's done already. Well, I just got to stuff checks. It'll be the end of the month stuff.
So Monday's the 4th, so we're going to have to rework those.
Oh, we have to close out the month Monday. Because Whitney's got a payroll Tuesday. I can try to get that. If it,
Zero at the
get all
bottom,
your
with the quarter.
Yeah.
We can have it done by then.
I can stay late and do it if I have to.
Well, I'm just curious.
What?
I was gonna say, do you have to be here on that revenue gathering thing? You know, that way you're not spending all your time at night working, and Tom, one of you can
She's
be
doing her payroll on Tuesday.
She does Tuesday. Remember what happened last time we didn't zero out the corner? I can do that.
I can do that probably this Friday.
Okay. No, we can work it out.
Let's figure starting, let's get just the stuff we have to do on Monday, Madam Chair, and from 10 o'clock, we'll go on and work on these.
Well, I think those other budget workshops, we'll leave them there, but we'll send memos out to, because we got people scheduled to come in at a certain time. But I think we ought to just hold off on having anybody come in until we get these revenues straightened out, and then we'll reschedule for your regular budget.
Yeah, because the only thing that really means anything right now are the revenues. Not that the others aren't important, but we better get the revenues lined out. Then we know what we have to work with.
I think so. Okay, I'll get the memos out. We'll get them coming in
Yeah.
as soon as we...
Let's dispense with our conversation today, Madam Chair.
So somebody will turn that machine off, because I don't know how to do it.
And thank you. Come in.
We plugged in for juvenile, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but juvenile.
I did juvenile advocacy report. I just did an increase on Superior
Good
Court.
believe.
Cat's gonna lose.
What did you do on juvenile, Fred?
I just took their baseline, put it on there. It was their numbers.
You used their numbers on it. Okay. And that's
And
bigger
our
than 180.
percentage,
Yeah, our percentage increase, everything they gave me, I plugged that in. Just their baseline, not their wants, but their needs.
Yeah. There is a difference. You can say these are fun times if you don't. You weakened, I see, Sue.
Yeah. I'm not too full anymore, so.
You weakened. You were so strong for a while.
Yeah, and then I got to thinking of sitting at the airport waiting for the airplane, then I go buy something worse than this.
What time do you catch the plane?
It leaves at 5, but I gotta be there.
You go over and back tonight, or just?
No. I gotta be there all day and come home tomorrow night.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
what time does theirs start?
9.
9.
It leaves. The airplane leaves at 5.
This evening, yes, it does.
It's 4:20 now.
It's 3:20 now.
Oh, it's 3:20.
Don't scare me like that.